title contenders, and yet here they now start today's game with Newcastle United level on points with them. And as the referee Tim Robinson blows his whistle, the game is underway. Chelsea starting 10 points behind Liverpool in the Premier League. As they're playing, as we look from left to right, so they're attacking the Holmesdale Road end of Chelsea. Sanchez in his luminous orange goalkeeping outfit away towards our left. Chelsea in the off-white change strip, and Crystal Palace therefore in their red and royal blue stripes and royal blue shorts, playing from left to right. And these are the two teams. Henderson in goal, Lacroix, Richards and Guéhi, Munoz and Mitchell are the wing backs, Lerma and Decore, Sarr, Eza and Mateta, as Decore looks to try and get Mateta forward. Runs out towards that right-hand side, looks up, low ball into the penalty area, and Caicedo just leaves it for Acheampong, whose clearance is charged down. That's Josh Acheampong. He's 18 years of age, making his first Premier League start for Chelsea, his fifth appearance in total. He did start at right back against Astana in Europe early this season, but he is very versatile. The young defender, he can play centrally as a wing-back or indeed a full-back. But Sanchez back in goal. They've made 6 changes in total. Robert Sanchez, Gusto, Acheampong, Colwill and Cucurella the defence. Fernandes and Caicedo in the centre of midfield with Neto, Palmer, Sancho and Nicholas Jackson. And Chelsea will hope to get back to winning ways, Paul Robinson.
Yeah, they've had a difficult time of it over the festive period before the 0-0 draw away at Everton, the defeat against Fulham. And before that, they were on such a good run, everybody talking about them as potential title challengers. I know we spoke in the show before about Enzo Maresca at Leicester last season, about the drop-off that his team had, the 17-point gap that was closed in 11 weeks. Chelsea supporters and Chelsea players will be hoping that it's not the same story here.
Yeah, they certainly will. It's very interesting what you had to say regarding that, as Colwill out towards Cucurella on the far side, back with Colwill, and Acheampong collects it inside the centre circle, comfortable with the ball, out towards the right-hand side. Gusto's diagonal ball towards Palmer, intercepted by Lerma. Crystal Palace get it away, but there was Caicedo just to head the ball forward, and then Fernandes strokes it out, and Chelsea have settled very, very quickly and into a nice rhythm in these early stages.
They did exactly the same at Ipswich last Monday night. They dominated large parts of the game, but without having that cutting edge in the final third. It was more a possession-based game. They're interested in recycling the ball and dominating possession rather than actually creating clear-cut opportunities for themselves. Cole Palmer was at the heart of everything that they did again, but they just lacked that threat. Maybe it was the amount of changes that they made.
Neto looks to get past Guéhi, delivers the cross. Sancho waits, and on the volley, right-footed, couldn't get over it, and inside the penalty area has put it into the Holmesdale Road end for a goal kick.
Well, it was a lovely interchange by the two new wingers, if you like, that's come in today. Pedro Neto on this right-hand side does well, gets past the fullback Mitchell, all the time in the world. He plays across to the edge of the, well, it's not the edge, on the angle of the 6-yard box and 18-yard box in the corner. Similar place to where Garnacho did his overhead kick for Manchester United against Everton, and Sancho just didn't look as athletic as him. He went for a scissor kick but didn't leave the ground.
No, it was one that certainly needs a little bit more work from Jadon Sancho. As Chelsea seeing a lot of the ball in the early stages here on BBC Radio 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. Back at Selhurst Park for, I remember when Roy Hodgson in one of his first games after taking charge in 2017, it had a dreadful start to the season. You might recall Frank de Boer was sacked after 5 games. They lost their opening 7 fixtures, and then they beat Chelsea here at Selhurst Park, and Selhurst Park that particular day was at its vibrant best. However, you have to go all the way back to that particular game for the last time that Crystal Palace actually beat Chelsea, as Colwill hits the ball forward. Jackson makes the run in towards the penalty area, left-hand side, and wins a corner for Chelsea. As we welcome listeners to the BBC World Service, a Happy New Year to you wherever you are in the world. Here we are in South London, Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 0, in the company of Paul Robinson.
Yeah, Nicholas Jackson winning the corner there for his team over on the far left-hand side. Ian Swinger, right-footed, but Jackson comes back into the team. And Cuckoo played midweek, Felix played midweek, Madueke played midweek. Shows you the strength and depth that he's got at his disposal, the manager, that he's able to change it up. And this does seem to be his preferred Premier League 11.
Well, there are a clutch of Chelsea players who've gathered just outside the penalty spot. Then they've broken away and it goes in towards the near post and goes behind. And it will be another corner kick for Chelsea. as Crystal Palace thought that the referee had initially said a goal kick, but it's going to be a corner. Still a little bit of confusion. We will quickly get a goal at Hull City. Shojo Osaka.
This will get everyone's attention. Hull City 1, Leeds United 0. Brilliant combination by 21-year-old Mason Burstow, who found Abu Kamara, big signing from Norwich in the summer, chipped the keeper from 30 yards out. Hull 1, Leeds 0.
Chelsea wait to take the corner. Palmer, left-footed, in towards the near post. Headed out well by Sarr. Eza carries it forward. Enzo Fernandez had come back to cut out that run. So that will certainly please Burnley supporters, making the short journey home after the derby at Blackburn, where they actually moved level with Leeds United at the top of the Championship on 52 points. Leeds United going into that game at Hull City unbeaten in 7 as Lerma was fouled. And another goal in the Championships at Hillsborough. John Bennett.
It's gone to Sheffield Wednesday, who lead against Millwall by 1-0. Jan Valery, really good finish. Half volley in the penalty area, flew into the net. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Millwall 0.
Ball goes long. Achimpong, nice cushion control, releases Neto, who scampers forward with real purpose on this near side to right. Infield, Enzo Fernandez on the stretch, out towards Sancho, uses Cucurella on the overlap, cuts the ball back, almost fell towards Cole Palmer, but there was Lacroix just to stop it, and Crystal Palace can run clear with Sarr, tries to get that ball up towards Mateta, but he just pulled back Colwell, and that will be a free kick to Crystal Palace. First goal in the 3 o'clock games in the Premier League is at St Mary's. Lee Blakeman.
Southampton 0, Brentford 1. Lovely ball to pick out Sharda, left side of the area. Nice finish, outside of his right boot, across goal. Southampton 0, Brentford 1.
It'll be a long, hard, bleak winter for Southampton, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got it all on now to stay in the Premier League. Southampton, you fear for all the 3 promoted teams when you look at the table, especially how far adrift Southampton are getting cut. You struggle to see where their next point's coming from.
Ball chipped forward by Achimpong, goes long. Do you consider Crystal Palace as a relegation contender?
I think that's the thing when you look at the table, Ian. I think you look at the 3 teams that are down there, and then you look above that, you look at Crystal Palace, Everton, and you think, no, they'll probably be okay. They've got more than enough to stay up, they've done it before. And then you go above that, you're into the likes of Manchester United and West Ham. So the 3 teams that are down there, they're going to have it all on to stay in the league this year.
Yeah, I think Crystal Palace, and they've certainly picked up since the international break back in November. Crystal Palace have only lost 1 of 8 in the Premier League. I think that Oliver Glasner will keep them away of those choppy waters down below, but Neto coming forward now. Never be too complacent, mind you, when you look over their shoulder and see that Ipswich are only 5 points behind them. Gusto just tried to roll Gehi. Eza back with Gehi once again, playing against the club where it all began for him. And then it's back with Henderson. Well, a heavy first touch by Henderson, and then he hits it left-footed up towards Mateta. Mateta wouldn't stick for him. Chance at Manchester City, Mas Faruqi.
And chance for West Ham. Kudos running at pace down the right, feeding in Souček, but the Hammers captain could only put it wide. Man City 0, West Ham 0.
8.5 minutes played at Selhurst Park. Achimpong. Chelsea looked very, very composed on the ball.
It looks really good, and Achimpong, I mean, he took the ball down earlier, that move when we had to disappear for a goal. The ball came over the top to him, he just took it down. His first touch was outstanding. He found Neto, and he set up an attack. He looked very, very comfortable, the young centre-back.
Sanchez back in goal, out to Gusto, the right back. Palmer runs away from Lerner, feeds the ball forward. Here is Jackson inside the penalty area. That was a terrific sliding block challenge by Richards. Comes out towards Neto, and in the end he's just then crowded out by the red and royal blue shirts.
That's a brilliant challenge by Chris Richards. Goes pace for pace with Nicholas Jackson. It's a lovely play again by Chelsea. Cole Palmer, he finds that space. We talk so often about space between the lines, turns, and he plays the ball through, perfectly weighted through to Nicholas Jackson. And just as he's about to pull the trigger, Chris Richards flies in front of him and makes a brilliant block.
Here is Palmer. Sancho. He's got Enzo Fernandez on the overlap. Enzo Fernandez plays it back. Sancho left-hand side of the penalty area. Cucurella midway through the Crystal Palace half. Back out towards that far side, passing the ball quickly. Good movement as well from Chelsea in these early stages. And then they slow it down with Cucurella to Colwell. Caicedo just forward of the centre circle. Palmer just finds an area of space. He wanted it to feet as well. He wanted it quickly and didn't get it. Now a goal at Manchester City. Masfarouki.
And just like that, Man City have the lead. Savinho with the shot from the left of the area took a deflection off Kilman on the way into the back of the West Ham net. Man City 1, West Ham 0.
Crystal Palace midway through their own half, coming under pressure. Caicedo fouling Lerma. Barnsley lead Crawley Town by 1-0. That's in League One as we go to Bournemouth and Chris Coles.
Bournemouth 0, Everton 0. Bournemouth creating the game's first opportunity. A James Hill long throw found its way to Dango Ouattara. Swept it goalwards. Pickford down smartly to save. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0.
Barnsley, incidentally, are looking for a 4th straight win in League One as they've started well at Oakwell. Lerma heads the ball forward. Eza lets it ride up his chest, comes under pressure from Palmer, plays the ball back to Guehi.
That's not the area of the pitch where Crystal Palace want Eza and Sarr. It's looking like they're playing in a deep block. You know, Crystal Palace, one of the teams that play a 3 at the back very successfully, and it is a 3, it's not a 5. But because Chelsea have been so dominant in the early stage of this game, the 2 wing-backs, Munoz and Mitchell, they're making a 5. So Palace are sitting in a low block. The thing for Chelsea is to be very careful on the break, because Sarr, Eze and Mateta, we know the pace that they've got on the turnover of possession, and that's how Ipswich hurt Chelsea last Monday with the lap. He worked his socks off, he got in behind, and they did Chelsea a couple of times on the counter-attack.
On that point, and I've always been told that good players can play in any system, why have Manchester United players struggled to adapt to 3 at the back, yet when Oliver Glasner took over last season, and Roy Hodgson obviously was rigid with his back 4, why did Palace it work for them and it's not working for Manchester United?
And he didn't have any time on the training ground either, did he, Oliver Glasner? He went straight to a 3.
Ball over the top. Cucurella puts the ball away. They'll go out for a Palace throw. Goal at Middlesbrough, Mike Maine.
Well, Lattilaft got his 10th of the season. Middlesbrough lead Cardiff by 1-0. Crossing at the near post on the right. He was running in. Easy finish. Middlesbrough 1, Cardiff 0.
Good run of form at Middlesbrough. Beaten in 5 in a playoff position in the Championship. Stockport 0, Mansfield Town 1. Chelsea are breaking. This is Jackson coming in off that left touch line. Won't quite reach Neto. Guehi was there. And now all of a sudden there's an option for Mitchell to come running forward in towards Eza. Mitchell has gone with him. Mitchell's cross though is blocked, and Gusto can run it away on this near side. And all of a sudden the game starts to open up a little bit, and Palmer forward of the centre circle. Chelsea playing from left to right. Sancho central area, back towards Palmer. Sancho, Enzo Fernandez, Cucurella, they slow it down. Palmer again wants to be on the ball, he wants to dictate, as we've been playing for 12.5 minutes, and he strokes it towards Caicedo. Out then to this near side for Gusto. Neto plays it back, and Chelsea go back to being patient. I think we're going to go to Watford now. Charlie Slater.
Where Sheffield United have the lead, they're 1-0 up. It's Gustavo Harmer, right-footed, smart ball into the bottom corner of the net. Watford 0, Sheffield United 1.
That would take them level with Burnley and Leeds onto 52 points at the top of the Championship. Gusto goes back to his goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez, and we will go back to Chris Coles at Bournemouth.
Bournemouth have the ball in the Everton net, but the flag up on this near side. Kirkes, great ball in. Semenyo with a fine finish, but he was a couple of yards offside. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0.
Sharp play by Sancho in towards Palmer. Palmer with a shot, Palmer with the goal. But it was all about the movement from Sancho. He left his marker for dead on the left-hand side. In it goes to Cole Palmer. And Cole Palmer, who had an excellent 2024, has started the new year with a bang.
That's all about Jadon Sancho. Wow, what a piece of movement and wing play from Jadon Sancho. Wait till you see this on Match of the Day tonight. He's absolutely done centre-half Chris Richards. It's on the left wing, the ball's played into Sancho. He goes as though he's going to take a touch. He's on the halfway line. He's got his back to goal. He just lets the ball run. Completely deceives the defender. From there, he's still got a lot to do. He works his way into the 18-yard box, pulls it back on the angle to Cole Palmer, who coolly strokes it into the bottom left-hand corner of Dean Henderson's goal. But that's all about Jadon Sancho. That's him at his absolute best, and it's a great finish by Cole Palmer.
I remember Jadon Sancho making a really bright England debut. It was in Rijeka behind closed doors a few years ago now, and he then obviously has lost his way, but he was so sharp there, knew exactly what he was doing, left Richards, as Paul Robinson quite rightly was saying, in his wake, and he was away. And then Cole Palmer just does what Cole Palmer does. He's clinical in front of goal.
It was so simple from Jadon Sancho, but so effective. And you've got to be confident to be able to do that, and a player in form. He's run towards the ball as though he's going to take it back towards his own goal. He's just run around the ball. And Chris Richards, he's fell for it. He's gone for an absolute treat. Jadon Sancho has flown down the left wing. And as you say, there's still a lot to do, and it's a great finish by Cole Palmer.
And it's also, you'd have to say from a neutral's point of view, a deserved goal for Chelsea. The way that they've started this game, because they've started with a point to prove. They've been on the front foot and they've been in control in this opening quarter of an hour. They lead by 1-0. Let's go to Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
It's 0-0 against Leicester City. Hardly a constructive, decisive pass from either side so far. Just a half chance, low cross Cash. Watkins deflected for a corner. Villa 0, Leicester 0.
And talking of Leicester, on Sports Extra now we've got some rugby union coverage. Leicester Tigers against Exeter in the Premiership. That's on Sports Extra. This is 5 Live, the World Service, and BBC Sounds, the app, where you can listen, you can rewind, you can even pause, you can do what you want on the BBC Sounds app. And certainly I think Richards would like to rewind and do a little bit better than that, because Sancho was superb. You'll see it tonight, Match of the Day, BBC One at 10:20.
At least he'll know what's coming this time. He didn't read it at all, did he?
No, it was excellent play by Jadon Sancho. As we were saying, Enzo Maresca ringing the changes, 6 in total from the side that lost at Ipswich on Monday. You did the game, didn't you, for 5 Live?
Yeah, and I didn't think they played that poorly, Chelsea. I thought they dominated the game for large periods, but were caught on the counter-attack a couple of times, the willing runniness of Liam Delap. And defensively susceptible, not scored in the last 2 away games, so they put that right today already, and they look better and they look sharp for the changes that he's made today.
When I was harking back to 2017 and that Crystal Palace victory against Chelsea, when they actually drew 1-1 at Stamford Bridge in September, Chelsea took the lead in that game. It actually ended a run of 14 defeats for Crystal Palace against Chelsea in the last 7 years. Here is Neto, square ball, Cucurella out towards Sancho. Neto wanders across towards the inside left channel of the penalty area, falls to the floor. Never a penalty. He was the only one looking for it.
They like playing against Crystal Palace to Chelsea. It's the team that they've beaten most in the Premier League, 24 times. So it's always been a happy hunting ground, this has, for them at Selhurst Park.
Yeah, it has. 12 of those 15 away games in the Premier League as well. Colchester United 0, Accrington Stanley 1 is a latest score in League 2 as Chelsea lead by 1-0. And elsewhere in League 1 there's been a goal at Wigan. Katie Smith.
And it has implications for the top of the table, because it is Wigan 0, Birmingham 1. The goal for Alfie May, the initial shot palmed away by keeper Tickle, but it kept low and it fell to the feet of May for his 9th of the season. Wigan 0, Birmingham 1. Birmingham
unbeaten in 8, second, although they are actually level with the leaders. Wycombe Wanderers on points, 50, and just tucked in behind with Wrexham on 48. Chelsea lead by 1-0, and they've been awarded a free kick, not quite 30 yards out from goal, fractionally left of centre.
You'd be surprised if Cole Palmer takes on the shot from this distance. We know how clever they are with set plays. Does look a little bit too far for the shot, but him and Fernandes are stood over the ball now discussing. A cluster of Chelsea players all gathered at the far post on the edge of the box.
Well, Palmer is just having a word with Enzo Fernandes at this stage, and I think Enzo Fernandes is going to walk away. No, he's going to touch it to Palmer. Crystal Palace have got everybody back in and around their penalty area. Tim Robinson has spotted just a little bit of pushing. Just has a word with Colwell, Cucurella, and Lacroix, who's also involved. The right arm goes aloft of Palmer. This will either be an in-swinger or an out-swinger. It's an out-swinger and headed on by Neto, and then it fell to Jackson. And on the volley running in, inside the 6-yard box, he puts it wide. Let's go to Pat Murphy at Villa Park.
A blow to Villa. John McGinn, the talismanic captain, has gone off injured. He may well have brought a leg injury into the game because he went off shaking his head. Early change then. Jacob Ramsey comes in for McGinn. It's Villa 0, Leicester 0.
That almost felt kindly to Jackson.
Do you know, it's a really good opportunity for the striker, and if he was in full form and confidence, you'd have expected him to do better. It was a lovely ball drifted in by Cole Palmer, and it was flicked on net by Neto. I think it was inadvertently flicked on. He was going for goal, ends up with Nicholas Jackson on the far post on the volley, and he should at least hit the target from where he was.
when I said about Cole Palmer and the fabulous year that he had in 2024. No player was involved in more Premier League goals than Cole Palmer. 26 goals, 13 assists, and he's already up and running. Bristol City are leading Derby County by a goal to nil. They've won their last 2 home games in the Championship, and they're 1-0 up at Ashton Gate. Stockport County have equalised at home to Mansfield Town, 1-1 in League One. And there's been another goal at Vicarage Road. Charlie Slater.
Sheffield United's advantage lasted only 6 minutes. Lovely play down the right. Barr found Andrews. Andrews found Ngakia, who found the net. 1-1.
Here is Munoz for Crystal Palace, right corner of the area. First time to maybe see the home team attack this Chelsea defence. Decore plays it back. Gay joins the attack. Out toward Gladstone up on the far side. Referee has spotted something, and it is going to be a Chelsea free kick. Chelsea still lead by a goal to nil here at Selhurst Park. Oxford United are leading at Deepdale in the Championship. Preston North End 0, Oxford United 1. They've won all 3 under Gary Rowett, and they've taken the lead there in Lancashire.
Enzo Maresca's absolutely fuming below us because his team have been given a free kick for offside, but actually on the turnover possession, Cole Palmer and Neto were away. They were 2-on-2, maybe 3-on-2 in Chelsea's favour, but the referees brought them back for an offside. Mateta was offside, but the referee blows up immediately, but there's a turnover of possession, and the ball finds Cole Palmer, and Enzo Maresca and the rest of the Chelsea team are absolutely livid because they thought they were away.
I'll be honest, I can't remember if I've read out this scoreline, so forgive me if I have. I'm not repeating myself. Colchester United 0, Accrington Stanley 1. Just wanting to make sure in League Two that we're on top with all the goals as they go in. And another goal at the Riverside. Mike Maine.
Well, Cardiff City starting the day in the relegation zone are level against playoff chasing Middlesbrough. Callum Chambers into the top right hand corner. Middlesbrough didn't deal with the ball into the box. It fell to the defender on the edge of the penalty area. First time hit past the goalkeeper. Middlesbrough 1, Cardiff 1.
Colwell out to Cucurella, far side to left, back with the England international, left to the centre circle. Achiampong collects it right-footed. He then goes across the back and in front of the 2 managers standing in that tiny technical area either side of the halfway line. Achiampong goes all the way back to Sanchez. Sanchez then will dig it out with a diagonal ball that goes onto the chest of Munoz for Crystal Palace. Midway through the Chelsea half, he's got past Cucurella with ease, delivers the cross, and Colwell sweeps it to safety. Sancho actually presents the ball from going out, but actually Palace benefited from that. Munoz with an early cross in, and now Palace get a throw.
Really poor that by the goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez. He was changed out for the game against Ipswich. He's made 3 errors that have led directly to goals this season, which is the second highest in the Premier League, and you can see why his distribution was really poor. Chose to try and switch the play there, but he was nowhere near any of his players. Give it straight to Munoz, who took on Cucurella, and he could have got the ball into the box.
Tranmere Rovers are leading Carlisle United, bottom of the Football League. Both sides going into that game at Frenton Park with 1 win from their last 8 games, but it's Tranmere who lead bottom of the table Carlisle by a goal to nil in League Two. We are past the midway point of the first half here on BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service and the Sounds app, and Chelsea still lead by a goal to nil. Gusto coming under pressure from Essa, and then as he thought about, as he looks towards Neto, saying about the lack of options ahead of him, he does get a throw, but he's in no real hurry to take it.
They've got better though, Palace, haven't they? Since Chelsea have scored, you feel they've grown into the game. They've started to press a little bit higher up the pitch. I mean, Chelsea dominated the game from kick-off to when they scored, but since the goal, Palace have been a little bit more expansive. The 2 full-backs have pushed on higher up the pitch rather than letting them be forced back, and you can see them growing into the game a little bit more.
Yeah, they are certainly spending a lot more time in the half away towards our left-hand side. As the results earlier, Tottenham 1, Newcastle United 2. In the Championship, Blackburn 0, Burnley 1. Stoke City and Plymouth played out a goalless draw. Swansea 1, West Bromwich Albion 1. In League 1, Burton, bottom of the table, lost to Northampton by a goal to nil. Cambridge next to bottom were also beaten. Good win for Bristol Rovers away from home by a goal to nil. They started the day just outside the relegation zone. And in League 2, Cheltenham against the leaders Walsall was postponed. Notts County 2, Swindon 0. Whilst Bradford City made it 4 wins from 4 at home, and moving actually to within a point of Port Vale and the playoff positions as they beat Grimsby Town by 3-1. A good Christmas period it has been for Graham Alexander's side. 25 minutes played. Chelsea lead by a 1-0. Doucouré goes to his knees, gets away from Enzo Fernandez. Referee has played the advantage as Fernandez hauled him to the ground. Out it goes towards Sarr. Right hand side for Crystal Palace. Sarr waits, doesn't deliver the ball straight away. Up in the air it goes. Bouncing ball into the penalty area, hooked away by Cucurella. Midway through the Crystal Palace half, Chelsea now doing some defending with Fernandez holding off a challenge and finds Palmer, and this is where Chelsea are danger. Palmer up towards Neto. Jackson joining the attack. Neto collects it right corner of the area, bursts into the box. Neto now the cutback just past Palmer, sliding in 6 yards out, couldn't divert the ball goalwards with his left leg. Crystal Palace now should get it away.
Find some unbelievable spaces on a football pitch, does Cole Palmer. 2 passes from their own 18-yard box to creating a chance in the Crystal Palace 6-yard box. He's just there on the turnover possession. He's the outlet every time. Picks the ball up and in one glance he sees Neto. He's gone. He's on his bike down the right-hand side. Neto takes on Mitchell, gets into the 18-yard box, looks up, and who's there advancing to the edge of the 6-yard box? Cole Palmer, and he just misses the pass by inches.
Norwich City 0, Coventry City 1. Unbeaten in 3 under Frank Lampard. Coventry City lead at Carrow Road in the Championship. Here is Lacroix, who've been playing for 26 minutes at Selhurst Park, and Chelsea still lead through that Cole Palmer goal, which is his 13th of the season. So Oliver Glasner gets some instructions across to his players in a rather animated fashion, bending his knees. White pumps that he's wearing. Must be in fashion, white pumps at the moment.
Is that a dig this way, is it? Shall we talk about how many batteries and buttons you had to press to warm yourself up?
No,
jackets and socks?
Let's not.
You're only wearing boots to tuck your batteries in them for your warm socks.
Let's just focus on the football, shall we? Talking of digs, if anybody sees the social media video that we did at Selhurst Park, I was getting prodded left, right and centre from a certain Paul Robinson as Richards heads the ball away. Fernandez loses out to Doucouré. In the midfield because Will Hughes is injured at the moment with a foot problem. Loose ball picked up by Sancho. Jackson just turns and pivots and it's into the path of Palmer. Now back towards Sancho. Sancho to Enzo Fernandez, and the cross takes a deflection. That could have gone anywhere off an outstretched leg, and it goes behind for a corner off the legs of Lacroix. Corner kick to Chelsea, who lead 1-0. 27 minutes played.
They look so smooth in possession. They look crisp. They look at it today, Chelsea. Completely opposite the way they were at Ipswich the other night. They look switched on. Enzo Fernandez back to front. Sancho down the left-hand side. Cole Palmer, as you would expect from him. And Nicholas Jackson is always a danger on the shoulder of those two centre-halves. They look good. They look slick in possession.
Palmer then to take the corner kick on this near side, the right, in front of the Homesdale Road end. The right arm goes aloft. Takes his time. Hits it. Left-footed. Achimpong with a downward header at the far post. The header down into the ground, but wide. Goal kick.
Lovely delivery again by Cole Palmer. That's one of Chelsea's many set plays that they do. The one that they quite often do is Cole Palmer. He drops the ball dead weight into the near post, but that time it was a high lofted ball to the far post to Achimpong, who's actually almost unmarked, and he should probably hit the target from where he was.
You were talking earlier, Paul, about Chelsea and how they enjoy playing at the against Crystal Palace in the Premier League. The goal for Cole Palmer means they've now scored in the last 22 Premier League games against Palace, going all the way back to March 2014. High cross in towards the penalty area. Downward header by Sarr. Picked up by Sanchez for Chelsea. Rolls the ball out towards Palmer. And then Enzo Fernandez out towards Sanchez on that far side. We'll go to Chris Coles at Bournemouth.
Closer to the opening goal, still 0-0 with Everton, but 3 excellent chances. Semenyo deflected effort just wide. Ivan Nilsson dragging wide when well placed, and Kluivert forcing a good save from Jordan Pickford. All Bournemouth. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0.
We're approaching the half hour here on BBC Radio 5 Live in the World Service, and Sancho is played in on that far side, the left. And then one touch too many, he overhits it, and he gives away a goal kick, which Henderson will take for Palace.
He got that wrong, Jadon Sancho. Just went to do a little step over, caught the ball with the top of his right foot, the underneath of his studs, just as he was trying to do a step over, kicked it out inadvertently for a Crystal Palace goal kick.
After this game, Sports Report, the results and reaction with Mark Chapman. Then at 5:30, our next commentary is at the Amex, Brighton and Hove Albion against Arsenal. Alistair Bruce Ball and Matt Upson will bring you commentary of that before we go to 6:06. with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. And Manchester City still leading. Maz Faruqi.
They are, but West Ham causing problems. Decent chances for Fulkrug and Paquetá. Still that goal, though, now credited as a West Ham own goal is the difference. Man City 1, West Ham 0.
Brentford still lead by a goal to nil at St Mary's. Aston Villa, Leicester and Bournemouth, Everton are both goalless. It was Wigan Athletic 0, Birmingham 1. There's been another goal in League One. Katie Smith.
It's now Wigan Athletic 0, Birmingham City 2. A killer move down the right-hand side. Ethan Laird with all the action, drilling it into the box. And then I think Alfie May just getting a touch on it. I think he's going to claim that one. Wigan 0, Birmingham 2.
As it stands, they will go top. Both Wrexham and Wycombe are still drawing at home against Peterborough and Blackpool, respectively. But 2-0 to Birmingham City, 2 goals for Alfie May, 1 just for Chelsea so far, 30 minutes played. But can't recall Sanchez being tested just as yet by Palace.
He hasn't. Palace haven't really ventured. We talked about them slowly getting back into the game, looking better, but that period ended.
Here is Neto, right-hand side of the penalty area, and he'll get a corner off the legs of Tyrick Mitchell on this near side the right.
And just as you thought that Palace were getting a foothold in this game and they were getting better, Chelsea exerted the dominance again. The possession, I've been really impressed with the way that they played today. The 2 midfielders, Caicedo, the one who sits the deeper out of the 2, Enzo Fernandez allowed to go forward. His link-up play with Jadon Sancho on that left-hand side has been excellent.
The assistant referee has got time to share a word with Cole Palmer as they wait to take the corner on this near side the right. Chelsea have got everybody forward and Crystal Palace have got every outfield player inside their own penalty area. As Palmer, left-footed, Henderson comes, gets something on it, and then Decore gets the ball away. We'll go to Lee Blakeman at Southampton.
Southampton 0, Brentford 1, should be 2 though. Jensen with a free kick from the right, in it went, onto the head of Norgard, and his header came crushing back off the crossbar. Southampton 0, Brentford 1.
Sanchez outside of his penalty area, his orange goalkeeping outfit matching the boots of Achimpong, who gets the ball away. Then it came quickly back to the teenage defender. Required Enzo Fernandez to drop in behind to get the clearance. Palmer prods it to Fernandez. Ball runs loose out towards that far side, right to the centre circle in the Palace half, and Munoz gets a touch, and Palace actually go back to Henderson. The crowd shouting, man on, and then there was a deliberate trip by Neto on Lacroix, and Crystal Palace get a free kick midway through their own half. The last we heard of Leeds United, they were behind. Jojo Saka.
They are still trailing. Hull City 1, Leeds United 0. Hull so close to a second. Regan Slater's just hit the post. Leeds have had a shot blocked off the line from Joel Piroux at the other end. Great game. Hull 1, Leeds 0.
Second place Doncaster Rovers in League 2, 12 points behind Walsall, looking to take advantage of their inactivity today. However, they've fallen behind as Crystal Palace give the ball away, and Nicholas Jackson almost profits as the ball goes away. And details of that goal for Port Vale at Doncaster from Naz Premji.
It was from Ryan Crowsdale, the midfielder, with a low drilled finish into the bottom corner. Doncaster Rovers 0, Port Vale 1.
Cucurella, amidst the boos, takes the throw on the far side, and Chelsea play the ball back towards the halfway line. Achimpong to Gusto. Eza goes towards him. Goes all the way back then to Sanchez once again, and then here is Achimpong once more, bringing the ball with his feet out to Gusto, goes out for a throw. Let's go back to Manchester City. Maz Faruqi.
Chances for a City second. Haaland laying it off to the unrushing Bernardo Silva, and then he himself should have scored. Set up by Rico Lewis this time. Still Manchester City 1, West Ham 0.
Here is Mitchell. Paul.
Yeah, they're going to struggle at the moment, Crystal Palace, the way that they're sitting deep. You can see the game plan. They're sitting in a deep, low block, allowing Chelsea possession, but in turn without having anything going forward themselves.
Lerma searching ball towards Munoz. Mateta. That goes down as Palace's best chance so far. Munoz, good control right-hand side from that searching diagonal ball back towards Mateta, who got it away out of his feet quite quickly, right-footed. Maybe didn't have the power, certainly didn't have the just going away, the accuracy. It was going away from that far hand post.
So much better by Palace, really direct ball across the field to Munoz, who roams down that right hand side, pulls it back to Mateta. Mateta's problem was it wasn't a clean connection, but it takes a deflection and he gets his team a corner.
So a corner kick for Crystal Palace. They're playing from right to left. They're attacking the White Horse Lane end of the ground for those of you who know Selhurst Park. And once again, Tim Robinson just having a word. Lacroix is getting quite close to Sanchez. Mateta standing in front of the Chelsea goalkeeper. The referee looks exasperated at the moment because the pushing and shoving continues to take place. Despite him having a word, keep an eye on that. Enzo Fernandez is actually trying to separate, being the buffer between his keeper and Mateta, just trying to give the keeper some protection. Eza waits to take the corner, in it goes, it's very crowded at the near post, comes out, Sarr missed it with a left-footed volley, drops onto his right foot, goes away from goal, passes the ball out wide, fired back in, but well held by Sanchez low down.
Yeah, good hands by the goalkeeper, but you can see what Crystal Palace are trying to do, the set play, trying to crowd the goalkeeper.
Urged on now by this Selhurst Park crowd. And Lacroix has stayed forward. Will actually win a corner kick.
That's horrible for a goalkeeper, that. It really is horrible when they surround you in the 6-yard box like that. What he was doing there, Robert Sanchez, with Enzo Fernandez, what I used to do, you put your own player in between yourself and the opponent, because you can push your own player all day long, but as soon as you put your hands on the striker, you run the risk of getting a foul. So he's putting Enzo Fernandez in between him and the striker so he can shove his own player, but Mateta's been a real problem to him again now.
He is, and Enzo Fernandez once again looks to be the protector. As in comes another corner from Eza, and again Sanchez under pressure, fisted that one away, out towards Doucouré. Mitchell chips it to Eza, brings it under control well, good touch there, flicked it goalwards and poured away by Sanchez. Lovely footwork by Eza, as Enzo Fernandez will win a throw for Chelsea on the halfway line, far side the left.
It was a lovely first touch and volley, almost all in one movement by Ibarich Eza down this left-hand side, just inside the box. Great touch with his left foot, and then he lifts it over the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper just gets a paw on it, puts it out to the far post. It's kind of a half-shot cross over the goalkeeper's head. Robert Sanchez actually, he does really well because he puts it into an area where it lands to Jadon Sancho's feet and he's able to run it to safety.
Salford are in a good run of form at the moment. They've won their last 5. They've just taken the lead at MK Dons. They could be going second in League 2. Here is Neto for Chelsea. Left-footed ball in towards the penalty area. And Enzo Fernandez was actually... He leapt into the air, but he leapt a fraction too early. He couldn't hang in the air. And it goes behind for a goal kick. Chelsea still lead by 1-0. We've got about 7 minutes to go to half-time. And we'll go to Manchester City, West Ham United, Maz Faruqi.
Another great City chance. Rico Lewis shot from the edge of the D, had to be acrobatically blocked away by the West Ham keeper. Savinho's causing so many problems down that left-hand side, and City still lead by 1-0.
That's the day tonight, 10:20, BBC One. Here we are on the 5 Live, the World Service, and the BBC sounds out. Palmer, a lovely weighted ball, hit it so sweetly, left-footed. Jackson cuts on the inside, and Jackson puts it just wide. What about the through ball that pierced the Palace defence?
Selhurst Park just fell in silence and admiration at what Cole Palmer's just done. The technique, what he's just employed there to put Nicholas Jackson through. On the half volley, he volleys it into the ground, he knows exactly what to do, but it's the weight of the pass. It's a half volley, and he volleys it into the ground, straight into the path of Nicholas Jackson. Doesn't have to break his stride, cuts inside his defender and goes with the outside of his right boot, and it narrowly misses the right-hand post of Dean Henderson. What a goal that would have been.
After cutting inside onto his left, as Lerma looks for another diagonal ball towards Munoz, level with the penalty area. Munoz now looks up, his left-footed cross. Eza goes over his head, runs out of... No, it doesn't run out of play, actually. Keeps it in play. Palace still trail by 1-0. We've got just over 5 minutes to go to half-time here on 5 Live. Eza back towards Lerma. Short ball inside. Gay. Would it not have been better for Jackson, once he's cut in onto his left, to hit it left-footed like you say, rather than the outside of his right boot?
That was the more difficult of the two options, but I always found it easier with the left foot myself in, you know, when I got in them positions. No, listen, he did brilliantly well. I think he's just where he got the ball stuck under his feet a little bit, so he wasn't able to open himself up and get it onto his left. He had to dig it out with his right.
Cross comes in from the right. Sanchez dives at the feet of Mateta. The ball just ran loose momentarily. Sanchez quickly back to his feet. Mind you, there aren't too many goalkeepers that will have scored 2 goals in their career.
No, not necessarily. One header and one very lucky punt down the field. Robert Sanchez gets lucky there as well. It's a lovely ball into the box, and he dives out to cut Mateta out with one hand. Ball gets stuck under his arm. He gets very lucky the way that he's cut out and manages to keep hold of the ball.
Stockport County 1, Mansfield 2 is the latest score in League 1. And there's a penalty in League 1. Sahel Sari and
Wycombe have taken the lead, and they've responded to Birmingham. They're leading Blackpool by 1-0 from the penalty spot. Richard Conner, their leading scorer, he scored his 13th of the season. He was fouled, he's converted. Wycombe 1, Blackpool 0.
So at the top of League One, it's Wrexham now who need to respond, with the two teams above Bill Parkinson's side. The leaders Wycombe and second place Birmingham, both leading by a goal to nil, as here Crystal Palace have been awarded a free kick.
Yeah, Mateta just jumps and he gets a nudge from Caicedo. He's just going to look to jump and nod it into Eze's path, his strike partner, but as he does, Caicedo just comes into the side of him. Referee gives them a free kick in a fairly central position, but a dangerous position for Crystal Palace.
So it'll be a direct free kick this for Crystal Palace. Because of the stanchion, we're never blessed with the greatest view here at Selhurst Park, as we sit right at the halfway line on the front row, in the left corner of the press box. There's a stanchion, and I'm just trying to see that Eze is there. Is it Decore?
Yeah, Eze stood over the ball. It looks like he's going to strike it. He's just putting the ball down now.
So Eze is the one that places it down. Decore still is there, but it's Eze who's got now his hands on his hips. Decore is just going to walk away. Chelsea are lining up the wall. They've got 3 in the wall at the moment, just inside the penalty area. But as Paul Robinson was saying, this is quite central for Eze. At the moment, it is Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 1. It was Eze who equalised in the 1-1 draw early in the second half when they met at Stamford Bridge early in the season. We're late in the first half here, and Eze is the one who's going to strike it. There's 4 in the wall now for Chelsea. There's the referee's whistle. The shoulders rise for Eze, who moves and strikes it right-footed and into the 4-1 wall, and Chelsea get the ball away. And there's been a penalty at Sheffield Wednesday, John Bennett.
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday have missed a brilliant chance to go 2-0 up. Ike Ugbo skying his penalty after Masaba had been brought down. It was over the bar. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Millwall 0.
In the Premier League, Bournemouth 0, Everton 0. Goalless at Villa Park between Aston Villa and Leicester. Southampton 0, Brentford 1. Chelsea leading here by a goal to 0, and they're attacking once more. Cucurella's low ball was a dangerous one. Cleared, comes back to Cucurella. His cross to the edge of the area, cleared away by Eze. Only as far as Caicedo, who hits it low and hits it wide. And left out Manchester City because there's been another goal. That's Faruqi.
There has, scored by Haaland, the header at the far post, the cross though from the left from Savinho, who has been brilliant in this first half for City. Scored one, or deflected one in, and then set up the second. Manchester City 2, West Ham 0.
They got their first win in 6 on the 29th of December, and they're looking to follow that up with victory against West Ham here today. What's the latest at St Mary's, Lee Blakeman?
Southampton 0, Brentford 1. So close to an equaliser though. Tyler Dibbling, the home team's best player by a mile, with a shot edge of the area. We saw the net bulge, but it was the side of the net. Southampton 0, Brentford 1.
We've got commentary to come at 5:30 from the Amex. Here is Eze picking the ball up over the halfway line, out to his left-hand side. Mitchell hoists it over. Cucurella, though, heads it away from just inside his own penalty area. And there is Sancho, plays it back to Cucurella to get the ball clear, headed further away by Enzo Fernandez. Tomorrow, as part of 5 Live's Premier League Sunday, Fulham Ipswich at 2, to be followed by Liverpool Manchester United 4:30, weather permitting.
Yeah, it doesn't look very good tonight, does it? The snow that's forecast in the north of the country. So the Liverpool-Manchester United game, at the moment it's a mouth-watering opportunity for the Liverpool and the Liverpool fans, isn't it? I suspect there'll be a few Manchester United fans not so much looking forward to that one, but if anyone can go there and get a result.
Well, here is Palmer, taking the ball into feet neatly and then going for goal, but a little bit ambitious on the run, left-footed, and it was drifting well wide. From this weekend, actually, Liverpool will play 8 games in 25 days. Chelsea will play 5 in 22 days. Maybe an opportunity for Chelsea. Those games coming thick and fast for the league leaders Liverpool. For Chelsea to try and eat into that 10-point gap that currently separates the two teams. Not just the points either. Positions, it's Arsenal and Nottingham Forest who are also the difference between Liverpool and Chelsea after that awful end to 2024, where 1 point from 9 saw them fall away from any title challenge rather quickly. They're leading though here by a goal to 0, and they've protected Sanchez very well.
Yeah, they have. The Chelsea goalkeeper hasn't been overly worked this afternoon. So far in the game, they've been comfortable defensively, and when they have gone forward, they've attacked with purpose, directness. The most impressive thing about Cole Palmer, every time he gets the ball, is his first thought is forward. Whether it's a pass, a run, whatever it is, he looks to move either with the ball or move the ball forward.
We're inside the last 30 seconds of normal time at Selhurst Park. Chelsea still with that slender advantage. Also, when you watch him, he's forever looking around, and his awareness all the time.
I think you've got to give Enzo Maresca a lot of credit for that because of the freedom that he plays with. You know, the freedom that he's given in that role that we call a number 10 role. He's got the opportunity to roam around the park like he likes to. And we talk, I mean, you compare him to a player like Jack Grealish, who at Manchester City at times, we say he's coached out of it because he's coached into a system. Enzo Maresca's getting the best out of Cole Palmer because he's playing him in a position that suits him.
We're into stoppage time, and it'll just be the additional 60 seconds of stoppage time with Chelsea leading through Cole Palmer's goal, 1-0. Here is Colwill, bring the ball out of defence for Chelsea. We're attacking the Holmesdale Road end here at Selhurst Park. And now it's with Enzo Fernandez back towards Achimpong. I think they're just going to see out these closing stages by keeping possession.
It's been quiet, hasn't it? I mean, they've kept the crowd very quiet, Chelsea, at times when you thought Crystal Palace might just be creeping into the game. They've kept the ball, they've rotated possession as they are doing now, and looking to see the game out to half-time.
Because when this place is rocking, there aren't many better atmospheres in the Premier League than Selhurst Park, but they haven't had, in truth, too much to get excited about today, Crystal Palace supporters here in South London. Achimpong back towards Caicedo. Crystal Palace at the minute just can't get a touch, as Chelsea seeing out the half very, very well. There is the half-time whistle. They could have had more goals than the one that they do have, but it was well taken from Cole Palmer. It was all about the movement and the run from Sancho down the left-hand side. Paul Robinson.
Yeah, from a Chelsea point of view, I think Enzo Maresca will be delighted with his team, but he'll want that cushion of a second goal. Crystal Palace always carry that threat with the pace that they've got. And from Oliver Glasner's point of view, from his team, they're only one down, so the game plan will be more of the same. But as the game goes later and deeper, push forward and take more opportunities going forward. But from a Chelsea point of view, they've got to take more of the chances that they're creating, because they're creating the chances.
Thanks, Paul. Half-time then at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 1.
Paul says Chelsea need the comfort of a second goal. Manchester City have the comfort of that second goal. Half-time at the Etihad. Maz Faruqi.
Yes, they lead 2-0 at half-time. The 2 goals created by Savinho, who's been brilliant for City down the left in this match. His strike deflected in off a West Ham player for the first goal, and then he set up Haaland for the second. More great work at pace down the left, then the cross. Simple header for Haaland at the right post. West Ham haven't played badly in this match, but Savinho has been the difference so far. Manchester City 2, West Ham 0 at half-time.
The other 3 o'clock games in the Premier League still going on. Let's go to St Mary's. Lee Blakeman.
Southampton 0, Brentford 1. Loads of chances. Wissa's been denied twice by Aaron Ramsdale in the Southampton goal. And down the other end, Dibbling's hit the side netting, and Onuachu's had a header saved by Flecken. Decent game, Brentford leading by a goal to 0.
Goalless at Bournemouth, although the home side will wonder how. Chris Coles.
They have created so many good openings, and the most recent, the best, 4-on-3 after an Everton slip in midfield. Kluivert should have done so much better with the final pass. It killed the momentum, and Everton cleared. That's just 1 of 3, 4 really good Bournemouth chances. They should be ahead, but they're not with a minute and a bit of stoppage time to play. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0.
Anything of note at Villa, Pat?
Very little. Shan't keep you very long. Spectacularly awful game. The most meaningful note I've made is that after 18 minutes, McGinn went off with the hamstring injury. Just now, Cash, the first shot on target, beaten away by the Leicester keeper. Shocker. Villa 0, Leicester 0.
Into the Championship. Sounds like it's been entertaining at Hull, though. Shojo.
It has. Hull 1, Leeds 0. The goal coming in the 5th minute. A brilliant defence-splitting pass from Mason Burstow. Abu Kamara lobbed Ilan Meslier from outside the box for his first Hull City goal. Leeds then threw men forward. Joel Pirou had a shot blocked on the line. Regan Slater, though, should have made it 2-0 to Hull. He hit the post from just 5 yards out. Half-time, Hull 1, Leeds 0.
Let's go to the Riverside next. Mike.
Yeah, Middlesbrough 1, Cardiff 1. Host struck first. Near post flicked on, finished by Emmanuel Latilaf, his 10th of the season. Cardiff got their equaliser with Callum Chambers, the former Borough man, scoring for the first time in over 2.5 years. He capitalised on poor defensive work from the home side, hit it sweetly into the top corner. Home side have had more chances, but often been blunted by the offside flag. Means it's 1-1 at the break.
To Hillsborough, where Sheffield Wednesday lead at the break. John. Bennett.
Yes, by 1-0. So Sheffield Wednesday 1 point off the playoffs mark as it stands, but this should be more comfortable. Jan Valery is really well taken. Half volley gave them an early lead. Then just before the break, Ike Ukbo blasted a penalty over the bar. Millwall still waiting for a first goal under their new boss Alex Neil, restricted to half chances. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Millwall 0.
Come back to the Championship in just a moment, but the half-time whistle has gone at Southampton. Lee Blakeman.
Southampton 0, Brentford 1. Sharda's early goal, the difference. Brilliant ball to play him in by Damsgaard, and then a tidy finish from Sharda across goal with the outside of his right boot. Wissa's been denied by Ramsdale twice, while Norgard has headed against the bar. Southampton have been poor. Dibbling shooting into the side netting, and an Onuachu header, their only serious efforts. Half-time Southampton 0, Brentford 1.
Half-time whistle has gone at Villa. We know this will be brief. Pat Murphy. I doubt much has happened in the 30 seconds since.
I'll give you one killer stat, Mark. I don't believe that Jamie Vardy has touched the ball once in this half. There you go. No more questions, my lord.
And the half-time whistle has gone at Bournemouth. Chris Coles. No, he's not there. I'll tell you what, let's go. Let me give you the rest of the Championship half-times. Bristol City lead Derby by a goal to 0. Luke McNally got that. Ruben Rodriguez has scored for Oxford, and they are a goal up at Preston. Norwich 0, Coventry 1. Milan van Ooyewik with the goal for Frank Lampard's side. And at Vicarage Road, Charlie Slater.
Sheffield United won, the visitors in front after 13 minutes. O'Hare found Harmer, who fired across the keeper and into the bottom corner of the net, but only in front for 6 minutes or so before Barr and Andrews linked up down the right to find Ngakia, who tapped in his first Watford goal. This is an important second half for Sheffield United. Victory would help them keep pace with Leeds and Burnley at the top of the Championship. Watford 1, Sheffield United 1.
Burnley won 1-0 at Blackburn earlier on. Also in the early game, Stoke 0, Plymouth 0, and Swansea 1, West Brom 1. Into League One earlier, Northampton won 1-0 at bottom of the table. Burton to give Kevin Nolan his first win since taking over at the club, and Bristol Rovers beat Cambridge by a goal to 0. We are with the top three this afternoon in League One. Let's start with Wycombe, the leaders at home to Blackpool. Sahil Sahi.
They're leading by a goal to 0. Mark Scrappy first half, illuminated by the tireless Richard Kone. An early effort was wasted by him, but as he latched onto a loose defensive clearance, he was pushed in the back inside the box, and he duly stepped up to score from 12 yards. It's his 13th of the season, and he's the difference between the teams at the break. Half-time, Wycombe 1, Blackpool 0.
Birmingham are keeping pace with Wycombe, though. They are 2 goals to the good at the break. Katie Smith.
Yeah, and Alfie May loves scoring against Wigan. That's now 5 goals in 4 league games against them. His first drilling in a low parried save. The second getting the final touch on a move down the right-hand side created by Ethan Laird. Wigan haven't played badly, though. Certainly the better side in the first 15 minutes. And later on, Brentford low knee. Ola Kigby hitting the post as well. So keeping the pressure on Wycombe. It's Wigan 0, Birmingham 2.
Wrexham are goalless, though, at half-time. Laura Kenyon.
Automatic promotion chasing Wrexham, the best home form in the Football League, but struggling to find a breakthrough against relegation battling Peterborough. Not the most entertaining half of football, clear-cut chances, few and far between, to the frustration of Phil Parkinson making his 1,000th game in management. Sir Alex Ferguson, of course, another of those in the 1,000 club, and here today supporting Sundarren in freezing conditions in North Wales with snow forecast later. Half-time, it's Wrexham 0, Peterborough 0.
So many goalless games in League One this afternoon. Not at Oakwell, where Barnsley lead Crawley by a goal to 0, but Charlton Reading, Exeter Bolton, Huddersfield Rotherham, Leyton Orient Shrewsbury, Lincoln Stevenage, all goalless at the break. There have been 3 goals at Edgeley Park, though. It's Stockport 1, Mansfield 2. Lee Gregory's 9th of the season, putting Nigel Clough's side ahead. Will Collar equalising for Stockport, who haven't won in their last 3, but Will Evans with his 10th of the season, restoring the lead for Nigel Clough's side. Earlier in League 2, Notts County beat Swindon by 2 goals to 0. Bradford beat Grimsby 3-1. Leaders Walsall's game at Cheltenham was postponed yesterday because of a frozen pitch. We are at Doncaster in 3rd against Port Vale in 6th. Naz Premji.
Doncaster Rovers 0, Port Vale 1. Mark Vista's lead thanks to a goal from Ryan Crosdale. Great work from Antoine Hackford in the build-up to set up the Vale midfielder. He drove low into the bottom corner. Billy Sharp and Luke Molyneux have forced Ben Amos in the Vale net into some smart stops. And Jordan Gibson flashed a shot wide as well for the home side. Doncaster Rovers 0, Port Vale 1 at the break.
Elsewhere in League 2, Barrow 0, Harrogate 0. Accrington, who got their first win in 8 on New Year's Day when they beat Grimsby, lead again this afternoon. They're at Colchester and they lead by a goal to 0. Salford are on course for their 6th straight win in the league. They're a goal up at MK Dons, and Tranmere lead bottom of the table Carlisle by a goal to 0. It's the FA Trophy this afternoon. Aldershot 3, Chertsey 0, Altrincham 0, Barnet 1, Basford 0, Eastleigh 1, Forest Green Rovers 0, Chorley 0, Gainsborough 0, York City 0, Gateshead 0, Boston 1, Hampton and Richmond 0, Spennymoor 1, Kidderminster are 3-0 up on Slough, Sittingbourne 0, Salisbury 0, goalless between Southend and Southport, and Weymouth and Boreham Wood. Worthing lead Torquay by 4 goals to 0. Full Scottish Premiership fixture list tomorrow. In the Championship today, Ayr 3, Wraith 0, Partick 1, Dunfermline 3, and Queen's Park 1, Livingston 0. In League 1, Arbroath are behind at the break. Alloa lead there by 2 goals to 1. Inverness a goal up on Dumbarton. Goalless between Montrose and Kelty Hearts. Queen of the South 1, Cove Rangers 0. Stenhousemuir 0, Annan 0. Elgin against Spartans and Peterhead against Stranraer, both postponed because of frozen pitches earlier. So just 3 games in League 2. Clyde leads Stirling by a goal to 0. It's goalless between East Fife and Forfar, and Edinburgh City 1, Bonnyrigg Rose 0. 2 games in the Premiership at 3 o'clock. Both have reached half-time. Gloucester 22, Sale 10, and Leicester 14, Exeter 3. Saracens against Bristol is a 5:30 kickoff. 4 minutes to 4 o'clock. Jill Mackenzie has the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. The Met Office is warning of significant disruption from heavy snow and freezing rain this evening and into tomorrow. There's an amber warning for snow and ice covering much of Wales and central and northern England. The Prince of Wales says he and Catherine have been shocked and saddened by the death of Edward Pettifer, who was killed in a vehicle attack on New Year's Day in New Orleans. The 31-year-old from Chelsea in West London was the stepson of Princes William and Harry's former nanny. Large demonstrations have been held in South Korea's capital, Seoul, both for and against the suspended president, Yoon Suk-yeol. Some protesters rallied in the streets around the president's official residence, where Mr. Yoon is being protected by security personnel. And a 6-day state funeral is starting for the former US President Jimmy Carter. He died last week at the age of 100. A motorcade will pass through his hometown of Plains in Georgia, pausing outside the farm where he spent his childhood.
Sir Alex Ferguson is the most successful British manager of all time.
Solskjaer has won the European Cup for Manchester United!
So how did an apprentice toolmaker from Glasgow become one of the most iconic figures in sporting history?
His strength of character, his determination, the fight in him. Ferguson was every department.
He can be persuasive, he can be charming, he can be frightening.
Go down as the best. It's simple as that.
I'm Kelly Cates, and this is Sporting Giants Sir Alex Ferguson.
I didn't want to feel, I couldn't feel.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport
with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Back to the early game in the Premier League, which finished at Tottenham 1, Newcastle 2. We'll hear from Ange Postecoglou first of all with Mark Scott.
Ange, on the balance of play, do you think you deserve to get something out of that?
I think on the balance of play, on any balance you want, if all things were equal, we would have won today.
Yeah, and what about the effort, the endeavour of what you put out today, considering all the players that you're missing?
Outstanding. Couldn't be proud of the players, the way we played our football, their attitude, their resilience. Couldn't ask any more of them, and it's a game we would have won if all things were equal.
Their first goal, Newcastle's, what was your take on that? Because I don't think there was much happiness on the bench about the manner of it.
As I said, if all things were equal, we would have won today.
Can you expand on that? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, just if all things were equal and balanced, we would have won today.
But what does that mean? Because it's a bit ambiguous.
That just means that things weren't equal and weren't balanced, that's all.
In terms of who you had available, is that what you mean?
If all things were well balanced and equal, and we would have won the game today.
Can I just check? Do you mean that officiating areas?
You can check. You can talk about whatever you want. You don't want to have an opinion. You want my opinion. My opinion is that if all things were even and balanced today, we would have won that game.
And Brennan hits the post in the second half, and another day that goes in, and it's a different feel.
No, we had plenty of chances. Our football was outstanding, considering everything we're going through at the moment. I couldn't be proud of the players, and if it was an even playing field, we would have won that game.
He did a press conference after the game, as all managers do, and in that he said, "I am as angry as I have ever been in my career. You can talk about whatever you want my opinion." And then he repeated the phrase, "If all things were equal and balanced, we would have won." Let's get the thoughts of Eddie Howe, again with Mark Scott.
Yeah, based on our first half performance, I thought we were really good. Had a number of chances. I think the most pleasing thing is to come back from conceding an early goal away from home. Never easy. So we made it hard for ourselves, but played really well in the end.
Was that a bit of a shock to the system, conceding so early when you've been so tight at the back?
Yeah, but it happens, and I thought it was a really good header from Solanke. From that moment, we knew we had a big task on our hands, but I thought we responded to that really well. On another day, maybe could have led by 2 at the break, and then second half, we had to defend really well, and they put on some quality players as substitutes, and I'm really pleased to get over the line and win the game.
They were unhappy about your opening goal, thought there was a handball in there. I know that you're happy that you scored, but can you see where they're coming from?
Well, for me, the rules are slightly unclear. I don't know where the cut-off point is. Of course, it hit Joe's hand. I can't deny that. But it was from that point onwards, I thought it was a really good goal.
And afterwards, you may have seen this, you may not have seen it. You'll be able to watch it on Match of the Day later on. The ball hit Joel Linton's hand in the build-up to Newcastle getting their first goal. The Premier League Match Centre Twitter account, after the goal was allowed, said the referee's call of a goal was confirmed by VAR, who checked for a potential handball by Joel Linton in the build-up, but they deemed that his arm was by his side in a natural position and the contact was accidental. I mean, Paul Robinson, you've seen it, haven't you, I think?
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, the contact was accidental, but it was pivotal.
It's consistency across the board with decisions. I mean, the handball rule's been changed that many times where we're not sure what it is from week to week. Let's get back to ball to hand, and then it's quite simple for the referees to decide. But the handball in the lead-up to a goal, if it leads to a goal, how many passages of play do they go back? You can understand Angie's frustration because it's a clear handball that's led to the opposition's goal. And as the rules state, there's 2 sides. It's one of those, isn't it, without sitting on the fence. If it goes for you, yes. you want it, and if it goes against you, you're absolutely raging.
Yeah, so, I mean, and sort of, as Eddie Howe said, he's not that clear on the rules, but you sense that if that had been conceded by Newcastle, they would have been furious.
Absolutely, yeah. If it goes for you, you're unsure of the rules and you're not too sure, and yeah, you're quite happy to take it. If it goes against you, it's a blatant handball that led to a goal. You can understand both managers' point of view. It's disappointing from Tottenham's point of view, but Ange clearly felt very strongly about it. Not heard him that spiky in a post-match before.
No. Teams coming back out for the second half in the Premier League games. Aston Villa 0, Leicester 0, Bournemouth 0, Everton 0. Manchester City 2, West Ham 0, Southampton 0, Brentford 1, and at Selhurst Park, where Paul is Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 1. Here's Ian.
Thanks, Mark. Another side has made a change at half-time, so Henderson in goal for Crystal Palace. The back 3 of Lacroix, Richards and Gehi. Munoz and Mitchell are the wing-backs, right and left respectively. Decore and Lerner in the centre of midfield, with Sarr Eza supporting Mateta. For Crystal Palace, red and royal blue striped shirts, royal blue shorts, and as the second half is restarted by the home team, they are playing from left to right as we look attacking the Holmesdale Road end of the ground. Chelsea, who are in their all off-white change strip, have Sanchez in goal, the back 4 of Gusto, Achimpong, Colwell and Cucurella, Fernandes and Caicedo, Neto on the right, Palmer central, Sancho on the left, Jackson as the lone striker. They're attacking the White Horse Lane end of the ground, leading by that Cole Palmer goal, scored in the first half after 14 minutes. The Palace are attacking now, and Munoz early ball in from the right-hand side. Level the penalty area, saved quite comfortably in the end by Sanchez.
Better start by Palace already. You can see what Oliver Glasner said to his team. Play with a bit more intent, play with a bit more courage. Allowed Chelsea too much possession in their own half. When I've seen Chelsea suffer in recent weeks, they've suffered against teams that have pressed them and taken the game to them rather than sit off them and let them have possession, because they're a good team and they can pick you apart.
Leeds United have equalised at Hull City. It's Hull City 1, Leeds United 1. Details of it from Shojo Saka.
Yeah, Hull 1, Leeds 1, just a minute into the second half. Al Tanaka from outside the box, right-footed it into the top corner. Brilliant strike. His first goal in Leeds United colours since signing in the summer. It's Hull 1, Leeds 1.
That then, as it is the the table currently stands would take them a point clear of Burnley, who earlier beat Blackburn Rovers in the derby by a 1-0. Sheffield United third in the table, drawing 1-1 away at Watford at Vicarage Road. Here in the Premier League, we'd already heard from the two managers after Newcastle United's excellent win at Tottenham Hotspur by 2-1. Incidentally, the League Cup semi-finals are during the week, and we will have commentary of both first legs. Arsenal, Newcastle United on Tuesday, and we'll stay in North London on Wednesday for Tottenham Hotspur against Liverpool. And then on Thursday, the FA Cup begins, and there'll be coverage on BBC Radio 5 Live on Thursday night from Goodison, Everton against Peterborough United to start the third round. But here we are, 2 minutes into the second half of the Premier League, and Chelsea with Achimpong out towards that far side, finds Gusto. Neto, lets it run through to Gusto. Here is Palmer on the edge of the area, looked to Enzo Fernandez. Munoz was tucked in and was able to bring the ball away, and then there's a foul and Crystal Palace will get a free kick.
They create so much space when they're in possession, Chelsea. They make the pitch absolutely massive because of the positions that they initially take up on the turnover possession. Jadon Sancho goes as wide as he can left, Neto to the right, Fernandes and Caicedo split, which leaves all that space in the centre of the pitch that we spoke about that Cole Palmer just occupies.
Achimpong, I've got to say, looks very, very assured as the at the back teenage defender making his first Premier League start. It's only his 5th appearance in total for Chelsea. He had a contract impasse that led to his exile from the first team earlier in the season, but has since signed a new deal and has committed himself to Chelsea until 2029. Looks some prospects. Munoz with a cross, right hand side, Eza arriving wide. Hit it first time, right-footed, 12 yards out from goal, wide of the left-hand post. Goal kick, Chelsea still lead 1-0.
It's been Palace's best outlet, this right-hand side. This time it's Sarr, runs at the Chelsea defence, plays a decent ball into Munoz on the right-hand side, who in turn puts a lovely cross into the box. Just bounces in front of Eze, which makes it more difficult for him. Takes it on the half volley, on the rise, gets a decent connection, but it just goes wide of Robert Sanchez's far right post.
Well, after beating Southampton, as Robert Sanchez has been warned by the actions of referee Tim Robinson as he points to his wrist. I'm keeping an eye on it. Chelsea taking their time with the goal kick, then they go back to Sanchez, who gets rid of it long. That beating Southampton, looking for back-to-back wins for the first time in the Premier League this season, and also successive wins at home. Still striving for that consistency as Munoz forward, and we'll get a throw off the shins of Cucurella down by the corner flag that just sways from side to side as they attack the Homestale Road end on this near side.
Just been too many draws for Palace, hasn't there, at home? I think we've seen them a couple of times, and performances have not necessarily warranted the points that they've got.
Here is Sarr, snapping into the challenge was Caicedo. Sarr, nice turn. Decore runs forward, has a shot, takes a deflection. Oh, and Sanchez touches it away from Eza and picks the ball up and almost carries it out of the penalty area. So it was quickly, as he tossed it forward, he had to do so very, very quickly. Munoz can't keep the ball in play on the right-hand side. Otherwise, Sanchez would have given away a free kick.
Looking nervy, Robert Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, was taken out of the Ipswich game on Monday night. Whether it was because of his disciplinary points and he didn't want him getting another yellow card, or whether it's because of his inconsistent and poor form, we won't know. We've not asked the manager. But there again, he comes out with the cross, it bounces in front of him, takes it with one hand in front of his own defender, makes a mess of it, and then in a nervy way goes to roll it out to Cucurella. Such a simple roll out to Cucurella, gets it all wrong and rolls it straight to Tyreek Mitchell.
He's just again testing the patience of the referee by potentially time wasting. They're certainly testing the patience of the Palace supporters behind them in that goal away towards our right. Goal at Bournemouth, Chris Coles.
0-0, Bournemouth 0, Everton 0, but Bournemouth so close to that opener. Antoine Semenyo, edge of the penalty area, left foot shot, strong one-handed save from Jordan Pickford. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0.
Sorry, Chris, I thought there was a goal there, but still 0-0, as it is at Villa Park between Aston Villa and Leicester City. Headed forward by Sancho. Caicedo will go to the ground very, very easily, and then preventing the restart was Decore. Now, earlier on you said about consistency. Why is that not a yellow card?
Well, that's the thing. That's the frustration of football supporters across the land. I mean, you're not going to get consistency absolutely perfectly right because we have different referees at different games. But actually, on such obvious decisions, one referee in that case would show a yellow card, and others wouldn't. And it's the same with a handball today at Tottenham.
Doucouré quickly and clearly prevented a free kick from being taken. Gusto runs forward on that right-hand side. Caicedo joins the attack, hits it early, finds Palmer just outside the D. Chelsea lead by a goal to 0 on 5 Live. Munoz steps forward out of defence. The ball, though, will run clear. And now it's with Colwill to Chimpong. Fernandez just opens up his left foot and guides the ball out towards the right. In comes the cross. Jackson is there. Lacroix was also there, and then headed away by Doucouré, but picked up by Enzo Fernandez. Barnsley have got a second goal. Barnsley 2, Crawley Town 0, as they look for a 4th straight win in League One. Here is Cucurella to Palmer, midway through the Crystal Palace half, dropping deep, but Crystal Palace at the minute with everybody back behind the ball. But it's Chelsea who, once again, are just starting to dictate matters in the second half. As we go to the Etihad and Mas Farouki.
West Ham close. Ortega forced to palm away the ball from just under his crossbar. The strike from the right from Soufal, and then Haaland couldn't find Savinho at the other end. That surely would have been a City third if he had. Frenetic stuff here. It's still Manchester City 2, West Ham 0.
Bournemouth 0, Everton 0, Villa 0, Leicester City 0, Southampton 0, Brentford 1. Latest scores elsewhere. Commentary to come at the Amex. Brighton Hove Albion against Arsenal. Mateta with the cross from the left-hand side. And Sanchez tracking the runner. Munoz concedes the corner kick. Palace have made a good start to this second half.
And they've noticeably gone longer. They've gone longer into Mateta. They're asking the striker to hold the ball up to cause problems, and they're not apologising for that. This time they go long to Mateta, down the left-hand side, holds off Acheampong, manages to turn and get his cross across the 18-yard box, and it's Jadon Sancho who gets in there and concedes the corner.
Lacroix is forward. He's greeted by a push and a shove by Jackson inside the 6-yard area. Palace actually roll it to the right corner of the penalty area for Doucouré, back towards Eza, plays it in low. Gusto's got time to run it clear here for Chelsea. He looks to chip it long towards Neto, but just going back, and it was easily dealt with, and Mitchell turns and goes back to his goalkeeper, to Dean Henderson, who will clear again downfield. Munoz goes in for a challenge with Cucurella, puts the ball out of play for a Palace throw. Let's get an update from Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
It's still 0-0, but Leicester had a half chance. Winks and ball, loose ball in the Villa penalty area on the left. Mavididi, side-footed wide from a tight angle, should have done better. Villa 0, Leicester 0.
Munoz upended by Caicedo with a robust challenge.
Yeah, it was a poor tackle by Caicedo. A little bit of a coming together down this near touchline. Caicedo decides to take matters into his own hands, concedes a free kick. But again, it's Palace not apologising for going long. That time from back to front from the goalkeeper right into Munoz. Holds off Cucurella, wins, looks what was going to be a throw-in. Then there's the melee, and they've got a free kick now in a really dangerous position to whip into the box.
And you said, Paul, in the first half, how Selhurst Park at times felt quiet, but Crystal Palace, positive start to the second half, has certainly seen the crowd find their voices as Exeter lead Bolton Wanderers by a goal to 0 in League One. We're going to Southampton in a moment where there's been a goal, but this is a dangerous free kick. Eza to take it, curls it in, and the header is tipped over in fine style by Sanchez. Richards was the player who got up. It was going underneath the crossbar, and Sanchez with the acrobatic save.
That's a really good free kick by Eze. It's a decent save by Robert Sanchez, flying high to his left with his top right hand. It's a save you'd expect the goalkeeper to make. Headed by Richards in the 6-yard box, completely unmarked, good save.
Eze with a corner again on this near side, the right goes deep this time, well claimed by Sanchez. So a goal at Southampton, Lee Blakeman.
Another one for Brentford, Southampton 0, Brentford 2, and Burmo with the corner. Nobody picked up the run of Sepp van den Berg, who headed it straight in to make it Southampton 0, Brentford 2.
Counter-attack for Chelsea, Neto right-hand side of the penalty area. Gusto with a cross, they appeal for handball. Crystal Palace will get the ball away. Cucurella plays it forward, and Palace are in possession, but then Lerma has lost it on the edge of his penalty area. Out towards Enzo Fernandez on that right-hand side. Enzo Fernandez, can he deliver the ball in? He's penned in by the corner flag. Another goal in the Premier League. It's at Manchester City, Mas Farouki.
And it's that combination again, Savinho marauding forward, laying it off to Haaland, his second goal of the match. Manchester City's third, Man City 3, West Ham 0.
Another goal this time in the Championship, Vicarage Road. Charlie Slater.
Sheffield United are back in front. Andre Brooks with a brilliant finish, edge of the box, left-footed, bending it into the bottom corner of the net. The only thing better, his celebration, a wonderful backflip. Watford 1, Sheffield United 2.
Barnsley have got a third goal against Crawley Town at Oakwell in League One. Barnsley 3, Crawley 0, and Wycombe Wanderers are down to 10 men. They are currently leading Blackpool by a goal to 0. The leaders of League One. However, Alex Hartridge has been sent off. And I've got a feeling we might be going back to St Mary's, because on my computer screen it's saying that Brentford goal was disallowed, Lee Blakeman.
Your computer screen, Ian, spot on, yet disallowed for a foul by Wisser as the corner was sent in. So Vandenberg's header does not stand. Southampton 0, Brentford 1.
Chelsea lose the ball inside the Crystal Palace half, and then Eza gives it away, and Colwell plays it forward. And now it is with Palmer, plays it down, slows it down, and then Sancho and Cucurella and Chelsea are back in control once more. 57 minutes played, they lead by a goal to 0. So let's get details of that sending off of Wycombe from Sahel.
Yeah, Alex Hartridge, as you mentioned there, Ian, a yellow card, one in each half, both for late challenges. He's been off now for about 2 minutes, and Wycombe have already made a change. Wycombe 1, Blackpool 0.
Another goal at the Etihad, Maz.
What a way to start the new year for Manchester City. Foden this time was City's fourth. A mistake by West Ham, pounced on by Kevin De Bruyne, and then laid off to Foden in the West Ham area. Man City 4, West Ham 0.
Just think, West Ham shipped 5 against Liverpool on the 29th, and they're 4-0 down now.
Struggling defensively, West Ham, and without Jared Bowen, who is really key for them with his goals and assists this season. Attacking, they've not really scored that many, and it's seemingly that Lopetegui's looking to save his job every week, isn't he?
Well, he's been under pressure for some time as Lopetegui. Chelsea leading here by a goal to 0 at Selhurst Park. 5 Live, the World Service, and the BBC Sounds app as we approach the hour mark. And Colwell has the ball in the centre circle, along the ground to Cucurella. Right-footed, finds Sancho midway through the Palace half. Back to Cucurella. Colwell now left of the centre circle. No longer goalless at Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
Goal for Aston Villa from Ross Barkley. Loose ball, not properly cleared by the Leicester defence. Barkley controlled it. Right foot, 22 yards. Keeper no chance. At last, Villa 1, Leicester 0.
Could that be a 5th straight defeat for Leicester City, who are next to bottom? We'll bring you as much live reaction as we can in Sports Report with Mark Chapman before we cross to Alistair Bruce-Ball and Matt Upson for our 5:30 commentary of Brighton and Hove Albion against Arsenal. Accrington Stanley have got a second goal at Colchester United in League 2. Colchester United 0, Accrington Stanley 2, and Barrow 0, Harrogate Town 1 is a latest score also in that division. But 15 minutes into the second half, would you say that Glasner would be encouraged by what he's seen in this quarter of an hour?
Well, if you're watching both managers below us, there's more going down in the touchline between the two of them than there is on the pitch at the moment. It's been very scrappy. There's been a lot of stop-starting in the last 2 or 3 minutes as you've been dotting around the grounds, but that'll suit Crystal Palace. They look to come out in the second half. They've looked to disrupt Chelsea. They're going a lot longer. They're playing more direct. And he's pleased, Glasner, you can see that, but the message that he's getting onto the pitch to his players, he wants them playing higher up the pitch.
Gay inside his penalty area, goes out to that far side, the left. Crystal Palace are playing from left to right as we look. Chelsea, they'll win the ball back inside that Crystal Palace half and actually then get a free kick. If you were to do your homework and look at Oliver Glasner's win percentage in his recent years of his career, he's actually enduring the worst spell when it comes to his win percentage compared to Wolfsburg, Eintracht Frankfurt. Even last season when he took over, his win percentage was 1.79. This season, just a 1 point.
Yeah, 1.79 points per game and 1 point per game this season. I mean, it's a big drop, and as you say, it's the lowest of his recent managerial career. He's never had a spell like that. They had a tough start to the season, did Palace, but they're slowly picking it up. But as we've said, too many draws, and you know, so the league table doesn't lie. We say about the teams getting relegated, they are in and around it, but the way that they've played again today, they're not a team that are worthy of the place they are in the league.
That's the voice of Paul Robinson here at Selhurst Park, as we'll now get the team news from our next commentary from Alistair Bruce-Ball.
3 changes for Arsenal as they continue their pursuit of Liverpool at the top of the table. Here away at Brighton, Ødegaard and Martinelli both on the bench today. Trossard, Jorginho and Declan Rice all come in. Jurriën Timber suspended. Estupiñán back from illness for Brighton. One of 3 changes for them. Matt O'Reilly makes a 3rd start of the season. Joel Veltman comes in. Lewis Dunk not involved today. Lamptey and Enciso are on the bench.
And if you notice that Ali said away to Brighton, you'll hear his dilemma that he faced in the latest version of the Commentators View podcast, episode 6, which is available on the 5 Live Football Daily feed. As Jackson, nice turn away from Lacroix. He's got Palmer ahead of him. Here is Palmer. Palmer, nice turn inside the penalty area, rolls it towards the far side. Neto keeps the ball in play. Right-hand side down by the byline, back towards Jackson. Neto, side down. Was that just inside the area? The referee's not even given anything. Crystal Palace will bring the ball away.
Perfectly timed tackle by Tyrick Mitchell. Neto comes inside, he's running across the corner of the 18-yard box, and Mitchell, he slides in from a distance away, and he has to time it absolutely perfectly, or else he risks a booking and a penalty, and he does. He times it absolutely brilliant. It's a wonderful challenge by Tyrick Mitchell.
Doncaster Rovers 0, Port Vale 2 is the latest score in League 2. Wigan 0, Birmingham City 3. We'll get news of that goal from Katie Smith in a moment, after we've heard of another goal for Leeds United from Shojo Saka.
Hull 1, Leeds United 2. Manor Solomon with a cross from the left, went right across goal. Jayden Bogle playing it back, and Dan James with a close range finish. Hull 1, Leeds United 2.
And Katie Smith at Wigan.
It's Wigan 0, Birmingham City 3. Surely that is game over for the side challenging for automatic promotion. Another shot coming in there from Alfie May, but this time the goal going to Williamson. Another move down the right-hand side, crossed in from Laird, finished off by Williamson. Wigan 0, Birmingham 3.
Chelsea have just been taking an opportunity to get into the ear of the 4th official Simon Hooper about that penalty shout that they had. As a 50-50 challenge goes in there, and Colwill has... The referee's reaching for his yellow card at the moment. Who's this to? It was Decore, the player who's gone down. Have you had a chance to see it again?
That perfectly timed tackle that I talked about. Yeah, I might be retracting my words on that one when you see that on Match of the Day tonight. It was a little bit clumsy, let's say, by Tyrick Mitchell. It looked from all the world of it up here, obviously with our view obscured by the stanchion in the stand, and it looked like a great tackle, and the referee looked to have made a good decision. But as you say, now the benches with all the iPads in front of them, the coaches all sat watching it. There was 45 seconds that passed, and the front row of the Chelsea bench, to a man, all got off their seats and went round the 4th official. They were absolutely adamant that they should have had a penalty, and on second viewing, I think they might be right.
Well, the referee has shown Colwill a yellow card. There's been another goal in the Championship at Hillsborough. John Bennett.
Sheffield Wednesday 1, Millwall 1. An equaliser for Millwall. George Honeyman, after a free kick wasn't clear. 1-on-1, lovely finish. Remember, Sheffield Wednesday missed a penalty to make it 2-0. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Millwall 1.
Leyton Orient are leading Shrewsbury by a 1-0. They've won their last 4 in League One. They've taken the lead there at home. And Barrow 0, Harrogate Town 2 is the latest score in League 2. Play back underway. Chelsea still lead by a 0-0. 65 minutes played. Chelsea switch play out towards Sancho. With a lovely touch off his right boot as he now passes the ball in early towards Neto. Has 2 bites at that. Second chance was blocked. Goal at Southampton, Lee Blakeman.
2-0 to Brentford. This one will stand, and Burmo's just been played in by Wisser, who absolutely thumped it past Ramsdale and Burmo. Great strike. Southampton 0, Brentford 2.
And there's been another goal at Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
Equaliser, Leicester City. Ayew, good cross, low cross. Vardy there, flicked it on. Martinez, excellent save. Broke free though to Mavididi, who scored through the keeper's legs. Villa 1, Leicester 1.
Ball goes behind. It's going to be a goal kick for Crystal Palace. 65 minutes played. And Doncaster Rovers, Port Vale. Naz Premji.
Doncaster Rovers 0, Port Vale 2. Laurent Talai with a flick finish after great work from Crowsdale. Doncaster Rovers 0, Port Vale 2.
They needed that. They finished the 2024 in a dreadful run of form, did Port Vale. They were second at one time, but without a win in 8, leading at second place Doncaster Rovers there. Also, the leaders remember their game at Cheltenham was postponed. Gusto running forward on the far side. His ball cut out by Mitchell. Quickly passes it to Mateta. Staying out wide on that left touchline. Paul Robinson.
Been very stop-start this second half. I think that both teams have struggled to kind of get any real good spells of possession. The turnover possession has been quick at times, and the opposition haven't managed to hold on to it. Again there, Caicedo comes into the back of Ismail Assar, and another free kick and another stoppage in the game. It's been bitty in the second half.
Voice of the former England international goalkeeper. His time at Tottenham, Leeds United and Blackburn Rovers. Eza passes the ball to Lerma, didn't do him any favours there. He managed just to get it away before Jackson pounced on the ball. But 66 minutes played here at Selhurst Park, and the lead for Chelsea is still slender. There's a diagonal ball, almost gets towards Mitchell, but Sanchez was out. He throws the ball out to try and attack that space that the left wing back has vacated. Gay is the one who's going to go across and deal with Neto. Carries it midway through the Crystal Palace half. Inside now to Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez will pass the ball in field. Palmer lets it run through to Cucurella. Out to Sancho. Level on the penalty area on this near side, the left. Every outfield player, with the exception of Achimpong, is in the Crystal Palace half as those red and royal blue striped shirts drop in behind the ball. Fernandez can't thread it through. Crystal Palace there with a turnover in play. Here is Lerma and gets a free kick. Where will we go next then on 5 Live as we're midway through the second half? And it's to Bournemouth, Chris Coles.
The Bournemouth chances keep coming, but so do the Jordan Pickford saves, this time denying Dango Ouattara. Edge of the box, a shot squirming into the bottom corner. Pickford there to make his 5th big save for Everton. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0.
The only goalless game in the Premier League. Tomorrow, part of 5 Live's Premier League Sunday. Commentaries at Craven Cottage in Anfield from 2 o'clock and 4:30. As Crystal Palace are going to make a change, and Chen Doucouré is going to be the player who's going to be coming off, and Daichi Kamada, the Japanese international, will be coming on for Crystal Palace with just over 20 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I think that's a like-for-like change. Doucouré came on in the last win against Crystal Palace as a substitute. Didn't play the week before against Bournemouth.
Munoz is away, right-hand side. Munoz with a cutback. Eza tried to get there, but Gusto covering the central area. The right back for Chelsea slides in, forces the ball behind for a corner.
No, that one was a really good, well-timed challenge by a full-back. Gusto there gets himself back in, slides in, makes the challenge, concedes the corner.
Eza waits to take it. In front of the Homesdale Road end. Should be an outswinger off his right boot. Jostling in the penalty area. In it comes now. Headed out by Colwell, headed back by Kamada. It was a looping ball, easily saved by Sanchez, who holds on to it and just tells everybody to get forward as he marshals that back line and eats into some seconds there by doing so.
Coming into the 70th minute, we're going to get to the point now where Oliver Glasner's going to have to start taking some risks. Made the substitution, they're still in the game with 20 minutes of normal time to go. The longer we go, the deeper we go into the game, Palace will become more open, more expansive, and they'll have to start taking some more chances if they want to get something from this game.
Nice turn by Palmer, edge of the area. Fernandez places it right-footed and put it wide of the left-hand post as we look. It was on the plate for him, really, wasn't it?
It's a strange technique that he chose to go with, Enzo Fernandez. Cole Palmer lays it across the outside of the box, and he opens his right foot up. The ball's running across him, and he chooses to open his right foot up to try and side foot it into the bottom corner instead of going his left.
Caicedo forward to Jackson. Jackson wide. Shoots left-footed. Inside left channel, the penalty area, across the face of goal. Chelsea was saying it took a deflection on its way through. We're looking for a corner. The referee has actually said it will be a goal kick. I'm not sure that Caicedo hit that pass, and he meant that for Jackson, but he was onto it.
He's got to score. He really has got to score, Nicholas Jackson. Seeing replays, he's got both his thumbs in his mouth and his gloves biting down the frustration. Dean Henderson goes with his left boot. He's through one-on-one with the goalkeeper just on the angle, but he squiffs his shot with his left foot wide.
Preston North End have equalised in the Championship. Preston 1, Oxford United 1. Will stay in the North West. Another goal at Manchester City, Maz Faruqi.
Well, it won't be a clean sheet for Man City. Fulcrook has just buried it after the run down the left from Souček. So it's now Manchester City 4, West Ham 1.
And straight to St Mary's, a penalty. Lee Blakeman.
To Brentford, to be taken by Mbeumo, foul by Ugachukwu. Here comes Mbeumo, and Ramsdale goes the right way, but can't keep it out. And that should be Brentford's first Premier League away win of the season. Southampton 0, Brentford 3.
And also ends that dodgy spell where they'd gone 5 games without a win. In the Championship, there's been another goal at Hull City. Shojo Saka.
Hull 1, Leeds 3. A mistake by Ivor Pandor in the Hull City goal. He gave it straight to Joel Pirou, who stroked it in left-footed for his 10th goal of the season. Hull 1, Leeds 3.
Burnley earlier beat Blackburn by 1-0. Sheffield United are also winning, so it'll be a case of as you were at the top of the Championship, as there's been no other goals elsewhere. 18 minutes remaining. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0. Aston Villa 1, Leicester City 1. Manchester City 4. West Ham United 1, Southampton 0, Brentford 3 now, and here Chelsea still leading by 1-0 as Sancho dispossessed by Munoz, slips it to Mateta, shot takes a deflection as it goes over the crossbar for a corner kick to Crystal Palace, who are still battling away.
It's a really good block by Levi Caldwell there, gets across the front of Mateta. Mateta hits it well, but it hits Caldwell, goes into the ground and bounces over Robert Sanchez, his crossbar, but it's Jadon Sancho who loses possession. Munoz is quick in, turnover possession, bites in, makes a really good challenge, plays it into Mateta's path, who on the angle, he hits it well, but Caldwell puts in a really good block.
They've had success away from home in London derbies at West Ham and Spurs, but the points are far from secure as far as Chelsea are concerned with 17 minutes remaining. Eza with a corner near side the right, outswinger, headed goalwards and scooped up on his goal line by Sanchez. Releases the ball out towards Neto. Right hand side, he's over the halfway line. He's got players streaking through the middle. One of them is Jackson, off his chest in towards the penalty area, and running back is Richards to concede the corner.
Good play by Chris Richards. He's had to run the length of the pitch from one 18-yard box attacking a corner to his own 18-yard box defending Nicholas Jackson. So quick from back to front from Chelsea. Robert Sanchez bowls it out to the right-hand side to Neto, takes it on and plays a good ball into the path of Nicholas Jackson. Chris Richards is there.
Maresca is going to make a change. There is activity on the Chelsea bench. 16 minutes remain, 5 Live, the World Service. And the BBC sounds out that Cole Palmer goal in the first half, still the difference. And Palmer waits to take the corner kick over on that far side. He just adjusts it in the quadrant. Enzo Fernandez is available for a short option. There are at least 5 Chelsea players moving towards the far post as Palmer now delivers it. In it goes towards the near post and hammered away by Mateta for a Chelsea throw.
Yeah, just watching down below as the two managers having a real set to below as the fourth official standing in between them. There's quite a heated conversation going on between the two managers, and then when one of them leaves, the other one goes back to the fourth official and tries to bend his ear.
Simon Hooper getting it from both directions. Here is Enzo Fernandez running clear, right corner of the penalty area. Palmer touches it towards Jackson, might come back towards Jackson a second time, a little bit scrappy. But Sarr was the one who cleared it eventually for Crystal Palace. In the air it goes. There was a push there on Lerma. And Crystal Palace will get a free kick almost midway through their own half. But they wait to take it. And by doing so, that allows Chelsea to get many of their shirts back behind the ball.
Yeah, they've done well, Chelsea, out of possession as well. They've got a defensive shape that's quite solid. Jadon Sancho, he's dropping in alongside Marc Cucurella, doubling up on Munoz, as Munoz has been the real threat for Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace, though, with Lerma forward, Cucurella heads it away. Bouncing ball will settle for Fernandez. Plays it diagonal out towards Neto, short of the halfway line, runs into the centre circle, over the halfway line, runs into, well, Tim Robinson actually says that is going to be a free kick, and whilst Neto is down, we'll go to St Mary's and Lee Blakeman.
Southampton 0, Brentford 3. It could be 4 though, because Wissa's just been played through on goal. Excellent save by Ramsdale. Southampton at the moment are being ripped apart here. Southampton 0, Brentford 3.
Borgé is going to be coming on his 19th birthday. The teenager, Spanish forward, who they signed for £5 million from Barcelona. Looks like he'll be replacing Nicholas Jackson. So Chelsea's change is going to be one up front, as they still lead by 1-0 with 14 minutes remaining here at Selhurst Park. Continuing to stretch is the birthday boy, still with his pink bib on, so he might just have to wait a little bit longer before he enters the fray with 76 minutes played at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 1, BBC Radio 5 Live. Gusto on the right-hand side, on the halfway line, back inside to Caicedo, and then he goes back to Sanchez, touches it, hits it long, right-footed, over the head of Sancho. Crystal Palace are still in this.
And he applauds that, Oliver Glasner. He'll go making the Chelsea goalkeeper kick the ball out of play because they were picked up all over the pitch. 1v1, they're going now, Crystal Palace, trying to press high, trying to win the ball higher at the pitch. We're entering, like we say, that last quarter of the game where now, if they want something from the game, they're going to have to start taking these chances. And they are trying to press higher up the pitch. But again, now when Chelsea have got possession, they drop into that 5 too quickly for me.
Well, and Chelsea have scored first this season. They've won 8 of the previous 10 games, drawing 1 and losing 1. Cole Palmer, that goal in the first half, the only goal that we've seen here in South London this afternoon. As Cucurella collects the ball from his goalkeeper Sanchez, goes infield towards Caicedo, who's got space to run into, and powers his way forward over the halfway line, looks for Jackson. Jackson can't wriggle away from Lacroix, but Chelsea keep the ball. Here is Enzo Fernandez, Gusto on the overlap, in towards Neto, gets it out from his feet quickly, right-footed shot blocked, and Chelsea will get a throw down by the corner flag, far side there, right.
Well, Caicedo runs far too easily away from Kamada there. He's got the freedom of Selhurst Park. Nobody goes near him. Gets the ball from back to front very, very quickly, Caicedo. Gets the ball into Neto. He's been a threat, Neto, on that right-hand side for his theatrical attempts sometimes. He's cut on his left foot and he's been a thorn in Crystal Palace's side.
Chelsea wait to take the throw from the right-hand side. And does it go out of play? No, but there's a real tussle. Crystal Palace get a throw. A goal at Villa Park, Pat Murphy.
It's gone to Aston Villa, scored by Leon Bailey. Great work by the sub, Maatsen, who's just come on. Created the chance, low cross, expertly turned in by Bailey. It's Villa 2, Leicester 1.
Regular listeners on a Saturday afternoon will know it's around now that we rattle through the scores in all the various divisions. No action in the Scottish Premiership today. We'll give you League 2, League 1 and the Championship very, very soon. Sports report to follow at 5. Here is Palmer, and then to the Amex at 5:30 for Brighton against Arsenal. So here are the latest scores in League 2. Well, the 2 results were Notts County beating Swindon 2-0 and Bradford City under Graham Alexander making it 4 wins from 4 in their last outings at Valley Parade, beating Grimsby 3-1. Latest scores: Barrow 0, Harrogate Town 2, Colchester 0, Accrington 2, Doncaster Rovers 0, Port Vale 2. That'll be a first win in 9 for Port Vale. MK Dons 0, Salford 1, looking to win 6 on the spin. And Tranmere lead bottom of the table Carlisle by a goal to 0 at Prenton Park. Give you League 1 and the Championship very, very soon. Here is Mateta. Runs away, Cucurella, interception from Munoz, goes down holding his face. Referee's going to stop play. We're going to Chris Coles now at Bournemouth.
Bournemouth take the lead. Finally they take one of their chances, and what a beautiful goal this is. Substitute David Brooks with a cushion left-footed volley, arriving late. He controls it so well into the far corner. Bournemouth 1, Everton 0.
A stray arm from Enzo Fernandez caught Munoz full on in the face.
Yeah, he caught him full on in the face, and he also caught his right ankle as he swept through him. I think Munoz, he made a lot of it, but it was a coming together. 2 impacts on him, one in the face and one on his right ankle. But thankfully for him and Palace fans, he's up. I'm sure Fernandez got booked for that, I think he did.
So yellow card for Enzo Fernandez, and Chelsea now going to make the change. Jackson is walking off. Mark Gay is going to be coming on. There's been a goal at Hull. Shojo Saka in the Championship.
It's Hull 2, Leeds 3. The goal for Hull, really unusual. Think Jordan Pickford against Liverpool about 5 years ago. Ball was going over the crossbar. Meslier somehow picked it up and dropped it. João Pedro there to pounce. Hull 2, Leeds 3.
Sheffield United still leading at Watford by 2 goals to 1. Free kick to Crystal Palace. Very high line from Chelsea. Eza takes it, drops on the edge of the area. Colwell with a good header out. Palmer now hits the ball forward. Gear will give chase. Mitchell will get there first. Slips. and it'll go out of play for a Chelsea throw. So the latest scores in League One, the two results: Kevin Nolan got his first win as Northampton Town's manager, winning at Burton by 1-0. Cambridge United 0, Bristol Rovers 1. Cambridge finished that game with 10 men. Latest scores: Barnsley looking for 4 successive wins, lead Crawley by 3-0. Charlton 0, Reading 0. Exeter City 1, Bolton Wanderers 0, Huddersfield 0, Rotherham United 0 in the Yorkshire Derby, Leyton Orient 1, Shrewsbury Town 0. Richie Wellens looking for 5 wins on the bounce. Lincoln 0, Stevenage 0, Stockport 1, Mansfield Town 2, Wigan 0, Birmingham City 3. That will stretch Birmingham's unbeaten run to 9 games. Wrexham 0, Peterborough United 0 in Phil Parkinson's 1000th game in management as the ball is threaded through. Ezra in the area, squares it, Mateta! Ezra could have gone for goal, but instead he put it on a play for Mateta. And with 8 minutes remaining, Crystal Palace are level, 1-1.
Well, they always run the risk, Chelsea, only 1-0. And Crystal Palace have hit with the ultimate sucker punch. Turnover of possession, it's Sarr in the middle of midfield. Plays it into Eze. He looks like he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but he's clever. He doesn't shoot. He looks up and he squares it to Mateta, who's 6 yards out. He's still got Robert Sanchez to beat, and he does so really well. Lifts it over the goalkeeper into the far right of the corner. It's all about Sarr. Sarr into Eze. Eze squares it across the 6-yard box, and Mateta's not going to miss from there.
Eze so unselfish. And Mateta with his 8th goal of the season. That's 17 goals in 17 starts at Selhurst Park under Oliver Glasner. 1-1 just to finish off those scores in League One. Wycombe Wanderers still leading Blackpool by 1-0, the leaders, despite being down to 10 men.
Yeah, it's a real, what is it, counter-attack by Palace, if you like. Turnover of possession, and it's Sarr in the middle of the midfield. They are checking, there's a VAR check to see whether it's offside, because it was the ball through from Sarr to Eze that they will be checking, and then also the second pass into Mateta into the middle of the goal. They've got 2 things to check, but the goal's been given. It's 1 apiece.
Goal stands 1-1. Another goal at Hillsborough in the Championship. John Bennett.
Sheffield Wednesday 1, Millwall 2. Alex Neil could be closing in on his first win as Millwall manager. The sub Ryan Wintle with a lovely finish. It's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Millwall 2, but just to say that, an equaliser for Sheffield Wednesday at the back post. It's Otabaya at the back post. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Millwall 2.
Sheffield Wednesday 2, Millwall 2. Huddersfield down to 10 men. Still drawing at home to Rotherham. 0-0. But Huddersfield, who unbeaten in 13 games incidentally, will have to see out the last 8 minutes with a man down. Chelsea are going to make a change. Madueke is going to be coming on. The results in the Championship earlier: Blackburn 0, Burnley 1, Stoke 0, Plymouth 0, Swansea 1, West Bromwich Albion 1. Latest scores in the Championship: Bristol City still lead Derby County by 1-0. Hull City 2, Leeds United 3, Middlesbrough 1, Cardiff City 1, Norwich City 0, Coventry City 1, Preston 1, Oxford United 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2, Millwall 2, Watford 1, Sheffield United 2. They're the latest scores in the Championship. As Chelsea 1-1, Madueke waits to come on, have a free kick on that right-hand side. We've got 6 minutes remaining. 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. Chelsea are playing from right to left, so the free kick is in front of the travelling support in the Arthur Waite stand on that far side of the ground. It's rolled short to Gusto, then it's played back towards the right for Palmer. Low ball into the penalty area, cleared by Mateta. Paul.
Well, Selhurst Park, certainly a different place to be at this stage of the game. Crystal Palace got the goal on the counter-attack now, and the fans are starting to believe that they can actually get something from this game. Chelsea stunned for all the possession that they've had, for the dominance they've had in the game. Once again, they haven't made it count.
No, they haven't. And that awful end to 2024 might well be continuing into the new year. Eddie Nketiah is going to be coming on for Crystal Palace. Earlier, Newcastle United beat Tottenham Hotspur by 2-1. Moving level with Chelsea at the time on 35 points. Back pass by Lacroix, cleared by Henderson. Latest scores elsewhere in the Premier League: Aston Villa 2, Leicester City 1. Bournemouth lead Everton by 1-0. 1-1 here at Selhurst Park. Manchester City 4, West Ham United 1. Southampton 0, Brentford 3. Shot from distance, flying effort as well from Enzo Fernandez, and Henderson took off away towards his left, but it whistled wide for a goal kick. Madueke is going to be coming on, and it's going to be Jadon Sancho who is going to be going off. That's going to be the Chelsea change. Eddie Nketiah is going to be coming on As there's been another goal at Doncaster, that's Premji.
Doncaster 1, Port Vale 2. Jamie Sterry with a blockbuster from distance, making it an interesting last few minutes. Doncaster Rovers 1, Port Vale 2.
Well, we've certainly got an interesting last few minutes here, and Ketia is going to be coming on for Eberechi Eze. He makes way, because we've got 4 minutes of normal time remaining, Paul.
Yeah, neither manager is now going to want to lose this game. You can see the substitution what Enzo Maresca's made. Like for like, Sancho on the left-hand side, run his race, Madueke comes on, gives him that opportunity. Played quite well at Ipswich out of all the players in a Chelsea shirt that night. Crystal Palace change. Eze, he's been influential there towards the goal, the assist for the goal. And Ketia coming on, he's just going to slot into exactly the same position, playing behind Mateta on the left-hand side of him.
Neto chips the ball up into the air. Header away by Lerma, headed forward by Madueke, and it bounces away off the knee by Mateta, back towards the halfway line. Mistake by Richards. Chelsea could be in here. Ball is played into a central area. Enzo Fernandez, though, Crystal Palace have got their bit between the teeth. Lacroix comes out of defence and then was fouled. Cole Palmer reacts. Lacroix is quickly back to his feet. We've got 2 flare-ups going on at the moment, and then it settles down as the referee looks to try and take control. There's been a late goal at Wrexham. Laura Kenyon.
Wrexham 1, Peterborough 0. Wrexham chasing automatic promotion finally find a breakthrough in a game that's been crying out for quality. Stephen Fletcher making a big impact off the bench, scores with his head to make it Wrexham 1, Peterborough 0.
So in his 1,000th game in management, it looks like the top 3 in League One will all be winning.
Tell you what, Enzo Fernandez has got away with one there. He's already been booked into this game. He takes Lacroix there. That's 2 challenges that he's had, Enzo Fernandez, where he's given the referee an opportunity to give him a second yellow. He's covered a lot of ground, but he's mistimed 2 or 3 challenges of late.
Brentford are ahead. Manchester City are leading. Bournemouth have a slender advantage against Everton, and the latest from Villa Park comes from Pat Murphy.
It's still 2-1, but it should be 3-1 to Villa. Bailey hit the underside of the bar, and with the ball pinging around, Watkins fired over the bar from just 6 yards out. It's still Villa 2, Leicester 1.
1-1 here at Selhurst Park between Crystal Palace and Chelsea. Achimpong forward to Caicedo, who overruns it. Kamada nips it away off his toes. And Ketia now for Crystal Palace, attacking the Holmesdale Road end. Bolton Wanderers are level at Exeter City. 1-1 there in League One. Richards passes the ball to Lerma. Achimpong stops it from reaching Kamada. Gusto now will clip it up towards Neto. Just waits to try and outstrip Gehi. Gehi, excellent sliding challenge, wrapped his foot around it and then hooked it clear, but the ball goes out of play for a throw. Goal in the Championship. It was Hull City 2, Leeds United 3. Watch it now, Shojo Osaka.
Hull 3, Leeds 3, extraordinary scenes here. 89th minute, equaliser for Hull City. Corner not cleared properly, fell to Abu Kamara, swept it in left-footed. Hull 3, Leeds 3.
That would mean that Leeds top 53, Burnley and Sheffield United as it stands, both on 52 points at the top of the Championship. Chris Wilder, his side are leading by 2-1. Neto trying to roll away, gets it towards Cole Palmer. Richards digs it out, cleared only as far as Caicedo. Cucurella to Madueke, looking to turn inside the penalty area, tries to get in between 2 Crystal Palace players. It's a corner kick for Chelsea. We're inside the last 30 seconds. Quick update from Bournemouth, Chris Coles.
Everton so close to an equaliser. Dipping volley from Abdoulaye Doucouré, just inches wide of Travis far post. Bournemouth 1, Everton 0.
We're just over 10 minutes away from the Sports Report with Mark Chapman on BBC Radio 5 Live. 1-1 here at Selhurst Park. They squandered points towards the tail end of last year. They were looking to get off to a winning start as the cross comes in from that corner. And Henderson comes a long way to punch it up clear. 4 minutes of added on time, which we're now into, and Chelsea have been awarded a free kick on that far side, the right, Paul Robinson.
Yeah, given a free kick on the far side by the assistant referee on that side. Chelsea now looking like they want to go on and try and win this game. Going into added time, the next goal certainly would see one of the 2 teams win it.
Well, Palmer is the player who's going to place it down in front of that travelling support. They're attacking the White Horse Lane end of the ground. Neto is the other one there as well. Palmer waits, just adjusts it, very nice casual style with a roll of the left boot. This is going to be an in-swinger. Mateta, who got the equaliser, is back on defensive duties. Palmer swings it in now. He's climbing high with Sarr to head it away. And then Enzo Fernandez has to go all the way back to Sanchez. And Nketiah runs towards him. Sanchez is forced to clear long. Ball kneed back by Gusto, the right back, who's now on the ball, running forward. Along the ground, Neto takes it over, right corner of the area, looks to Palmer on the inside of him. Bolton Wanderers with 2 late goals have turned it around in League One. Exeter City 1, Bolton Wanderers 2. A potential winner in injury time. We're in injury time here, it's still 1-1, Paul Robinson.
Yeah, Nketiah just lost possession on the far side. He's been poor and sloppy with possession since he's come on. Eddie Nketiah came on to replace Eze, and they're hanging on now, Crystal Palace. They're in that deep line block 5 with the 4 midfielders. Mateta's cutting a lonely figure up here on his own. They're trying to press, they're trying to get the ball off Chelsea, and they have done.
They have, and all of a sudden there could be a potential break on. Mateta to Sarr, right hand side, Munoz on the inside. His cross, Cornwall didn't know where that had gone, struck his chest, he was looking up in the air, it goes out of play for a throw. Norwich City have got an equaliser. Norwich City 1, Coventry City 1 in the Championship at Carrow Road. The last time that Chelsea went 4 Premier League games without a win was May 23, Frank Lampard's second spell in charge of the club. And here, Lerma is going to go long with his free kick as he wipes it off the underside of his red and royal blue striped shirt and right down by the tunnel area at Selhurst Park. He's up against the advertising hoardings in front of the main stand. Carlisle United, bottom of the Football League, have lost at Prenton Park. Tranmere Rovers have beaten them by 1-0. In comes the throw now from Lerma. It is a long one. It's flicked on 2 and then volleyed away from outside by Gusto and then fired back in on the volley by Lacroix. Chelsea now will try and run forward. We've got about 75 seconds remaining. Gusto hit long then by Achimpong. They've just lost their way in the second half, Chelsea.
They have, and I think the biggest thing is the less of influence that Cole Palmer's had. I think Cole Palmer's had a really quiet second half. They've done well of Palace with Decore when he was on, Kamada when he's come on, Lerma. They've boxed off the threat of Cole Palmer, they've stopped the service to him.
In comes the cross from the right, well played by Henderson. Is there time for Crystal Palace to go in search of a late winner? The ball is hurled long by Henderson, and Munoz is after it. Madueke chops him to the ground, the referee. Does he play the advantage? Munoz then waits midway through the Chelsea half. 30 seconds remain. Munoz has to run away from Caicedo, tracking him and then intercepting with the block challenge, and then it's cleared away and picked up by Sanchez. A late goal at Wycombe in League One, Sahel side.
A late equaliser for Blackpool. They've pulled it back level against 10-man Wycombe. It's been hard luck for Wycombe. Wycombe 1, Blackpool 1.
That will mean that Birmingham are the new leaders, 53 points. Wycombe will be on 51, level with Wrexham. And the full-time whistle sounds here at Selhurst Park, and this London derby, the honours have been shared. We'll get Paul Robinson's thoughts in a moment, but a late goal at Southampton, Lee Blakeman.
Another one for Brentford, 4-0. Keane Lewis Potter, left side of the area, a cross goal, tidy finish, Southampton 0, Brentford 4.
Well, for Chelsea, it's only 2 points out of a possible 12. They took the lead through Cole Palmer just before the quarter of an hour mark. But Eze getting Mateta on the score sheet with the assist. Mateta with a good finish, 8 minutes from time, 1-1, Paul Robinson.
A very similar performance from Chelsea to the one at Ipswich, dominating possession, dominated all the match stats. You don't need me to run through all the stats. They dominated in all areas, but again, they looked susceptible on the break, counter-attack, and Crystal Palace hung in there. One thing for Crystal Palace, it's just too many draws. 2 wins in 11 now for them at home. But a performance like that, you can see they're in the bottom echelons of the Premier League. But performances like they've put in today, it only gets them a point. It doesn't really pull them away. But they won't be in trouble. You can see a style, you can see a system. But for Chelsea, it's more points dropped.
Paul Robinson, thank you for your time today. It's finished then here at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 1, Chelsea 1.
So elsewhere in the Premier League where they're still playing, Brentford have got that fourth at Southampton. Southampton 0, Brentford 4.